Hello, gamers. You're listening to the Short Pause Fighting Game Podcast. This is episode number 123, the Little Mac Memorial Edition.
And welcome back to another exciting edition of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm Ben Boyce. Joining me tonight, Mr. Bender Holt and the one and only Frankie Ayler. Gentlemen, how are you this fine evening?
Pretty good.
Really good.
So I've spent most of my day watching fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie, what have you been doing today?
Same thing with some Jersey Mikes. It's been great.
Nice. What'd you get?
Got the buffalo chicken sub. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's a classic. Yeah, so we're right in the middle of Evo 2017 right now. Just finished up day 2. I guess day 2 still going on as we start the podcast here. Just finished watching an awesome Injustice 2 finals. So that game's really coming along. There were some spectacular matches in there. But I love Evo. I actually really like watching competitive fighting games. I've been watching the Capcom Cup throughout the year here. Haven't seen too much of Injustice 2 competitively yet, so I was excited to watch that. Kind of my first time sitting down with that game, getting a good taste of it. So yeah, Evo's been awesome so far. We saw the Guilty Gear finals earlier today. Those are pretty sick. Watched a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 today. The qualifying matches, the semifinals, awesome. Can't wait to see the finals tomorrow for that. Obviously, Street Fighter V as well. So it's been an awesome time watching Evo so far. We actually we have it all on the site for you. So if you come on over to shortpause.com, we've got our Evo hub for you. So we've got all of the live streams running for all of the different pages, and then we'll also have archived footage of all of the finals, grand finals, and maybe a few other matches too if we get some time to throw them in there. But at the very least, we'll have the finals and the grand finals on there. So if you missed any of your favorite games, you'll be able to hop in there and keep up with it on our page. So just come on over to the Short Pause page, right on the front page there, our Evo hub. It'll take you right in there, and you can check out all the exciting action alongside with us. So leave some comments. Let us know what you think of the matches as well. But other than that, what you guys been up to? Bender, what's up in your world, man?
Not too much. Still playing a lot of Marvel Heroes Omega.
Yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
Got Spider-Man up to rank level 48, I believe.
Wow, you're way up
now. Yeah. The cap is 60, so
Yeah.
I'm got a little ways to go, but I just finished chapter 8 out of 9 story chapters, so I'm getting close to finishing the campaign. Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. It's a cool game. It's actually got a pretty decent story. If you play through the story campaign, it's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's a little repetitive to solo it because it's a lot more fun with friends. But you can get through it with, like, at least with Spider-Man, I'm getting through it. Mm-hmm. But I like it. It's a cool game. I'm probably be playing it a lot more until Destiny 2 comes out.
Yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's what that game was designed for, right? It was designed to be played with other people. It wasn't necessarily designed as a single player experience, even though you can make it through. It sounds like. So how do those later missions get when you're playing by yourself? Do they get pretty tough?
They do, yeah. The boss battles especially get pretty tough. I just fought Doctor Doom, and that was a super tough boss battle. Yeah. Some of them are pretty cool with the boss battles and everything. So yeah, they get tough, but it's all doable. I mean, Spider-Man has some moves that can quickly take out big groups of enemies, so that helps a lot. Any like area of effect type stuff really helps out. So that I'm able to get through it, pretty well with stuff like that.
Gotcha. I saw you also completed your Age of Triumph book this week as well. So
I did.
Congratulations!
Finally
on
got that done. Thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of getting that done. It was a grind a little bit, especially some of the Crucible stuff that I had to do, but I'm glad I finally got that done. I already ordered my T-shirt, so
Nice.
I'll let you guys know when it comes in.
I still got some work to do on mine, so I'll be cranking through that the next 2 or 3 weeks, finishing that up, and then sending out for my T-shirt as well. So
Nice.
still got some stuff I gotta take care of on that, and obviously there's gonna be a big hindrance to that next week, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But other than that, man, what else you been up to? Anything else you've been playing?
I actually booted up Kingdom Hearts for the first time ever.
Oh, cool.
I bought the PS4 remaster for Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 a while ago when it first came out. I haven't touched it, and I had never played those games before. It's a little preliminary to give my opinion on it. There's some things I like and some things I don't like about it. The game really shows its age. There's some frustrating stuff, especially with the camera. The camera's terrible. There's some platforming you have to do, and the platforming isn't very good either. The combat is good when I can see what's going on. There's a lot of like tight spaces that you have to fight in, and it's hard to get a good view with the camera. I do like the story and the Disney stuff and the Final Fantasy stuff, and it's a pretty cool amalgamation of those two things. But I'll let you guys know how I feel about it when I play a little bit. I'm only about 4 hours into the first one so far.
Cool. Anything else? That pretty much been your week?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much been my week so far.
Cool. Sounds good. Franklin, what else you been up to, man? Outside of watching fighting games.
Yeah, so last Sunday, Chevelle was in town. So I make it a priority to go see them anytime they roll into Cleveland. So went with my buddy. It's a great time. They put on a great show every single time I've seen them. So I think this is the 5th or 6th time that I've gone to one of their shows in Cleveland now. So it was great. Probably one of my favorite set lists that they've played in town. They played a lot of songs that I've always wanted to hear them play live, but they haven't. Namely, there's a track, I forget which album it was on, but it's called An Evening with El Diablo. And I don't think they've played that live in a while, so it was really cool to actually hear that one. Got my Horizon Zero Dawn Platinum.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was really happy to play through that game. It's really good. My only real gripe with that game is if you get in any situations where you're doing melee combat in the game is not very great at all. So that was a little bit of a bummer, little here and there, but like overall, I mean the missions seemed a little repetitive, but at the same time, like the gameplay is so good that I didn't care. Fighting all these different variations of some of these machines. You got the corrupted ones that are, especially some of the bigger corrupted ones you fight. Like there's a corrupted Thunderjaw you fight at some point, and those things are brutal. But it is. That game is. It's a great ride. I'm excited if they pursue the threads that they left for a sequel. Just leave it at that. That's pretty interesting. So, looking forward to the Frozen Wilds DLC. That's the main reason I wanted to hop into that. So, it's another big game I check off the list this year. I think it took me about 45, 46 hours for the platinum, so that ain't bad.
Yeah, no, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. Outside of that, like I got Mass Effect Andromeda is installed, so when Jen goes back to work, I'm gonna get to work on that. And I watched the Castlevania series on Netflix. Really good. Again, ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm sad because it's really, really good. So if you're a Castlevania fan, I highly recommend checking that series out. It's great. So it's really short and watch about an hour.
Nice. Yeah,
they've already been approved for a second season, haven't they?
Yeah. I think 8 episodes too.
Nice.
Yep, be a longer second season. I unfortunately haven't watched it yet, but it's on my list of things to do at some point.
Yeah,
I'll sit down and watch it. No, it's not too much of a time commitment. So
no, I was waiting for Jen because she loves anything involving Dracula. So it's like I'll wait for her to get off work. That's fine.
yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, I think we're going to see Spider-Man tomorrow night at the drive-in. So I'm excited to finally see that because everyone says it's really good.
Nice. The old drive-in, eh? Not too many of those floating around anymore.
Not at all. So fortunate, live pretty close to maybe one of the last ones in Ohio. So That'll be fun tomorrow night. So
Cool. Yeah, you should definitely have a good time at Spider-Man. I enjoyed it myself. As far as what I've been playing, pretty much only got a chance to play one thing this week, and that was Mr. Shifty. So we fired up a double header on the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight this past week. Brent was obviously not here today. He played Serial Cleaner before me, which looks like a cool game. And then I hopped in afterwards and fired up Mr. Shifty, which is a game I've been looking forward to for a while. Saw it on that initial Nintendo Switch Indies presentation that they had. Thought it looked pretty rad. Fired it up on the PS4 this week, and it is really cool. It is exactly what it's been described as, which is Nightcrawler meets Hotline Miami. That's exactly what it is. It takes kind of the top-down Hotline Miami formula and puts it into a little more of an action-packed version of that game with a protagonist who teleports around the map. So there's not necessarily as much like plotting and strategy as in something like Hotline Miami. Mr. Shifty is much more just visceral and in your face. But it's cool. It lends the game a little bit of a different feel. It's got a really cool style about it. It has almost a graphic novel look to it, which fits in with the source material. And then it's fun to teleport around and trying to get the jump on these guys. And 1 minute you're in front of them, you teleport around with the back of them, and you grab a boat oar off the wall and just smack them in the face. You know, that kind of stuff's really satisfying. You can kick guys out the window. As you move on to the levels, it gets pretty tough in terms of the amount of enemies that are coming at you, and it's one hit kills in this game. So just like Hotline Miami, you mess up, you're done for, and you got to start over. So you really gotta be careful with the way you maneuver around the map and whatnot. There is
that trident's pretty great.
Yeah, the trident's badass. There's these like Greek statues that are throughout this building that you're making your way through, and a lot of them have a trident on them that you can take off. And this thing, is just a deadly like javelin. You can throw it; it goes across the whole map, pins guys to the walls, takes out everything in its path. That thing is pretty badass. So yeah, it was fun. There's some slowdown and there's some stuttering in when I was playing. It didn't seem like there was necessarily rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes there would be lots of guys on the screen and it would be running okay. Sometimes there'd be a lot of stuff on the screen and it wouldn't. So I understand this has been a problem with the game. So I don't know if this is something they'll iron out in any future patches, but just be on the lookout for that. But it didn't severely affect my enjoyment of the game in the brief hour that I played it. So so far so good. It's a fun game. Definitely want to play some more of it. If you like Hotline Miami at all, give this one a whirl. It's a little bit of a different take on the formula. Don't expect the same music, but expect some pretty cool gameplay in there. And that
So you got a certain sniper rifle.
I did. Rhymes with lice taker. Yeah, I did the Nightfall this week too, which of course I'll always play in Destiny. So whenever I get a minute, hopping in and doing that stuff. Did the Nightfall this week with Bender and Brent. Finished up our Nightfall bounty, and when I turned it in, lo and behold, Icebreaker finally mine once again. So I grabbed something and fused it up to 400. So it's a rip run ready to go. Gave it a whirl in a couple of the missions. Took it into the Crucible as well. So just love that thing. It's great to have it back in the arsenal. Maybe next week, Bender.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, you got a cool ghost though, out of the deal.
Yeah, I guess. It's not the same.
It's not as sexy, as the Icebreaker, but to get a max light level ghost is kind of tough to do when you're first building your level 400 characters. So the fact that you got that part of the equation out of the way, you're well on your way to hitting max light level now. So
that's true.
Yeah. So we all had a pretty decent haul on that Nightfall. I think Brent pulled the fourth horseman out of it as well. So
Good for him.
Which is a gun Frankie still eludes Frankie to this day. One day, man, it'll happen.
Yeah, get in there and do some of these.
Yeah, so got a busy Destiny docket in the coming weeks here. So obviously we've got some Destiny 2 stuff this week. Got the rest of the Age of Triumph for the rest of this month. And then all throughout August, we're leading up to Destiny 2, and I'm planning to still be in there playing Destiny 1, hopefully doing some of the raids, like to get some of that gear and do some of the upgraded raids and stuff. But yeah, looking forward to that. Other than that, let's get to these new releases, Frankie. Got some stuff on the docket to take us through. So what's up?
Sure do. So before we get into the brand new stuff, I just wanted to do a quick house cleaning thing here. Hitman, the final elusive target, is live now. The Entertainer, he's in Marrakesh. I believe he is there until the 24th. So that's the last elusive target. So if you're loving Hitman, get in there, take him out. Also, just a couple notes from the latest update for the game that just went live the other day. This update brought improved load times to the Xbox One version of the game. And as far as, across all the platforms for the game, they brought the requirements down for accessing professional difficulty for each level. Before you had to hit level 20 mastery, now you have to hit level 5 to unlock professional difficulty. So I think they're still going to be doing escalation contracts and whatnot, but as far as elusive targets goes, this is the last one. All right, so let's get started with the PlayStation side of things. The big one this week, the Destiny 2 open beta, begins on July 18th for early access. So if you
I was about
pre-order
to
the
be
game,
like, no.
next week. But yeah, so if you pre-ordered it digitally, hop on the PlayStation Store, search up the Destiny 2 beta, and it will be there for you to download. If you pre-ordered it at Best Buy, GameStop, whatever retailer, go there, get your code, go home, enter it on Bungie.net, choose your platform, get your code, and download it from there. So the early access period's from the 18th to the 20th, and it will open up on the 21st for everybody, and will run through the 23rd. So, guys, in this beta, we're going to get to check out the opening story mission, Homecoming, which I believe was the mission that they streamed from the Destiny 2 reveal event. Looks insanely badass, if I may say so myself. The Inverted Spire Strike will be available, as well as the Countdown mode in the Crucible. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're going to be adding Control at some point.
Yes, Control will be available in there as well on another map that they have.
So, yeah, that'll be the reworked Control, the 4v4. So, Ben, where are you at, man? How excited are you?
Very excited. I mean, dude, what more can we say about Destiny 2 at this point in terms of like our hype for it? I mean, it's time for us to just get our hands in this game in whatever brief taste of it we're gonna get with the open beta, and just hop into there. For these 5 days that it's available, I'm hoping to just play the hell out of it. Get in there, do these missions, get into the Crucible, play through these different subclasses that are available. Of course, you got to start with the Dawn Blade with the Warlock Master race. Then from there, maybe try out some of the other ones. Really want to use that Captain America Titan. That guy looks badass. Yeah. So looking forward to that one. Just can't wait to play it, man. I'm gonna be at work when the beta goes live, which sucks. So I'm just gonna.
You look a little pale.
Yeah. Yeah, might come down with something. Have to go home a little bit early that day. Yeah, but just super pumped, dude. I mean, it's finally here. We're moments away from getting our hands on Destiny 2, and then we're that much closer to the full version of the game coming out. I'm just jacked.
Bender, have you just been kind of sitting there with the beta open, listening to the music since you downloaded it?
I did do that when I first downloaded it. I booted it up
and just yesterday.
Sat at the menu. I was like, oh, I wish I could play you now. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so exciting. I can't wait. Can't wait to play it.
Yeah. I myself, I'm probably just going to play the Crucible. Hopefully, I know there's an emblem probably for playing the beta. I'm hoping they don't make you play through everything, because I really just want to wait and just dive in on September 6th. I don't want to. I know you guys are completely opposite end of the spectrum on that, but I don't want to have to get in there, play that opening mission, go, oh my god, yes, and then have to stop. So. But, yeah. Can't
that's gonna be brutal having to do that, but. Hey, we're gonna be playing these missions 500 times anyways, right? So
that's true. Yeah, it's
very true. Might as well get a couple of runs in with them.
Cool. So rolling on here, Orcs Must Die Unchained. This is the third-person action tower defense game. I believe it's free to play. PlayStation Plus members, you can expect to get access to a free pack that contains some in-game currency, skins, some consumables, and more, which is a $20 value. Yours free. Bender, you still excited to try this game out?
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out at some point. I like tower defense stuff, so it seems like it could be cool.
You should stream it.
Do you like the idea of a tower defense game where you're like in the action? You're not kind of the eye in the sky?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've played any specifically like that, but I'd be willing to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You should stream it.
Maybe I will.
Yes. Speaking
You
of
tease
things
you.
that should be streamed, Friday, Super Hot, coming to PlayStation 4. This, of course, is the first-person shooter where time only moves when you do. This game has an absolutely wild story to it. The game itself takes place in a game in VR. So the story in this game is really, really out there. It's I loved it personally, but Bender, I know we were talking about this before. This game, I felt it plays more out like a puzzle game where you're kind of moving around trying to find the best course of action to take out these red dudes. Where you at in this game? You excited to try it out? You for $19.99 at 20% off pre-order?
Yeah, I am excited to try it out. It's not because that's what I've heard from other people and from you, that it's more like a puzzle game, and that sounds like something that's right up my alley. And if it's coming to VR as well, I mean, I would like to play the original game and check it out in VR also. So hopefully I'll have a chance to do that pretty soon. And yeah, you seem to praise it, so yeah, I'm definitely excited to check it out.
I do believe it's on my top 5 list of last year's games.
I think it was.
It earned its spot there, that's for sure. Ben, interested in Super Hot?
Absolutely. If this game was coming out on Tuesday, I would feature it on the Indie Spotlight. But of course, it's coming out Friday, so you'll have to take the reins on that one. Which I'm sure we won't have to twist your arm too much on that.
Nope, not at all.
But yeah, the bundle with the regular version and the VR version is what is it, 20% off, which is
$31.99.
Yeah. So I'll be jumping into that. To have this game in both of those settings is going to be cool. Always wanted to play this game. I think it looks rad. So this is definitely something right up my alley.
Awesome, it is. I love this game, so I'm excited for you guys to finally get your hands on it. All right, rolling on here, Fallen Legion, Sins of an Empire. This is an action RPG. It's got a really gorgeous looking, kind of like a Dragon's Crown-esque art style to it. If you pre-order the game, this is actually pretty cool. You'll get the Vita version, Flames of Rebellion, for free. So, 2 games, price of 1.
Yeah.
Ben, what do you think of this one? Looks wonderful, actually. Look at this thing.
Yeah, I really want to play this game, and I know you've recommended I stream Archangel for the Indie Spotlight this week, but I'm actually probably gonna do Fallen Legion, because I'm worried about VR games. I just don't know how it's gonna turn out. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
don't know how that stream is gonna be. Plus, I don't want to get sick when I'm playing it, just in case. So just to alleviate any issues, the Tuesday night Indie Spotlight will most likely be Fallen Legion: Sins of an Empire. Like you mentioned, Dragon's Crown is exactly what I thought of when I saw the game. Not only in kind of the look, but just the style of play as well. It's like a side-scrolling action RPG. And, yeah, looks awesome. I love the fact that they've got a Vita version of the game that's a little bit different from the PS4 version. I think it takes place from a different perspective, from the perspective of the enemy or whatever. So, looking forward to testing that out. Love the fact that you get a theme in the Vita version for free when you pre-order it. The pre-order is also 20% off. So there's like tons of deals with this game. So that's a hell of a deal. I'm in on this one. Really looking forward to playing Fallen Legion. So more than likely, 10 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday night, we'll fire up Fallen Legion, give that one a whirl, see what it's all about. But I think it's got a potential to be pretty rad.
Awesome. Right, next on the list, Yonder, The Cloudcatcher Chronicles. This is another one. This game looks absolutely beautiful. It's an open-world action-adventure game where players are fighting off an evil merc to save their island. Bender, have you taken a look at this one? This kind of seems a little Zelda-y to me.
Really? I have not checked it out, but that sounds interesting. I'll have to look into this one.
Yeah, I think this one also has a pre-order discount, so I think it's $15.99 if you pre-order it.
All kinds of
very
sales.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sales everywhere right now.
Big fan. All right, Children of the Zodiacs. This is a story-driven single-player deck and dice tactical RPG game. It's actually a Kickstarter game. It's being published under Square Enix's collective indie label. This game looks kind of confusing to me, honestly. So it looks like it's grid-based exploration. And then your combat's going to be fought with card-based attacks and I guess dice rolls for more powered-up attacks. Ben, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, it looks really interesting. It's definitely it's tough to tell exactly how it plays from the video. Just watching it appears this is going to be a very deep experience. A lot of different systems at play that go into this, but I love this stuff like the Square Enix Collective, and kind of we've seen similar things with like the UB Art initiative, and even with EA partners. Even though they've had a tough time getting some of those games off the ground, like we still haven't seen Fee, but with stuff like Unravel, I like when these big publishers put together these kind of these side labels or whatever they're called, and they self-publish or help publish these indie titles as under this umbrella. So, and it seems like Square is going after these projects that kind of fit with their whole vibe. Like Children of Zodiacs really feels like this is something that Square Enix could have published as an indie game. It kind of fits in with their whole vibe. So I love that whole initiative. They've got a lot of other stuff in the pipeline. So I definitely want to check this out at some point.
All right. Next up on the list, 99 Vitas?
99 Vitas, eh?
99 Vitas. But this is a cross-buy title with a PS4, PS3, and Vita. It's a 2D 16-bit-esque beat-em-up game. Pays homage to 80s and 90s pop culture. Feels local and online co-op for up to 4 players. And there's 7 unlockable characters that are in-game. Remember when that was a thing?
I do.
Yeah, so that looks pretty cool. Robot Riot Hyper Edition is a 2D platformer where you jump, shoot, and raid different space vessels and their systems as Vanguard Robot Slug in an attempt to repay your debts. Congo Masters, a Friday release. This is an action game where you try to form the longest Congo line possible. Yay, wahoo. Also coming on Friday, Fortnite. Those of you who pre-order the game, you get early access on Friday. This is the 4-player co-op fort-building tower defense-ish game from Epic Games, where you gun down waves of monsters as a storm draws closer to your fort. Main thing to keep in mind with this, you can buy this game now. It's going to be free to play probably sometime next year, Epic has said, so I don't know. Ben, what do you think of this one? For me, this game being revealed earlier this month or late last month, just out of nowhere coming back, hey, here's a release date, we haven't heard much about this game since it was announced 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was strange the way it came back, because I remember when this was first unveiled, I feel like Cliffy B and those guys were still working for Microsoft at that time. Mm-hmm. So when they originally announced this, I'm a little confused by this game. Like you said, it's supposed to be a free-to-play game in 2018, but you can buy in now as part of early access. But there's a retail copy of this game as well that goes live on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm confused here. What are you getting? Because the retail game is like $60 too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a full-priced game that's supposedly early access, but it's going to be free to play next year. And it kind of came out of nowhere. What the hell's going on here? What is going on with this game?
That's exactly what I said. And the other funny thing was if you're going digital, there's 4 or 5 different pre-order options that go up to $150, $200, I think. So I don't know. Bender, have you seen this one? You have any interest in Fortnite?
I haven't really checked it out.
Yeah, I mean,
what is this game exactly? Is it like a multiplayer horde game? What is it?
So I was watching a couple streams on, because I think IGN had streamed a little bit of an E3, and essentially it looks like when you start a mission, you have a time limit to gather resources to fortify an area, and you have this storm that kind of grows closer, and as the storm hits, all these monsters come out. So it's essentially a third-person shooter tower defense game. I gather.
Okay.
But I'm not like they're very vague in explaining what else you're doing. Like if you can just go out and gather resources and just kind of rebuild a fort, or if there's like an actual reason you're doing this, or story, anything. Like I don't know.
So it's cooperative, not competitive, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks like everything that I really did not like about Sunset Overdrive. So I'm not. It's not doing much for me, but it looks nice. I can say that much for sure. I love the design of it. The look of the monsters is pretty cool. Like the storm effects look awesome, but I don't know, man. I'm still really confused about what exactly to expect out of it. So hopefully we'll get some reviews or some videos out there.
Yeah, it just seems like it's expensive for a quote unquote free to play game. So, it's kind of strange.
Mm-hmm. So a couple these are actually available now. A couple Arcade Archives Neo Geo releases: Fatal Fury Special Edition and Polestar. So of course, Fatal Fury being the popular fighting game, Polestar is a side-scrolling shooter. Area Collector's Edition is getting a retailer release this week. I think this game came out last week or a week before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it came out a couple weeks ago, and I think it came out on June 30th, I believe, was the release date.
Cool, so a while ago. But again, this is a Soadesco release, so look for that on Amazon. Limited Run Games has a couple of releases this coming Friday. Choice Provisions Drive, Drive, Drive. We'll see 3,000 copies on the PS4. And Nero Voider. I'm not too sure what this game actually is, but 3,500 copies for the PS4. So if you're a physical game collector, look forward to those on Friday. On the DLC front, Sniper Elite 4 Death Storm Part 3 Obliteration DLC. Ben, you and Brent looking to hop into this one?
Yes, we are. We still haven't played Part 2, so we need to do that one and then do Obliteration. I didn't even realize that we had missed Part 2 until I saw Part 3 was coming out. And I was like, damn, we didn't even play that. So, but yeah, this sounds pretty sweet. So not only do you get the story mission, but they're adding a bunch of other stuff into the game as well. New guns, new maps. They're adding a new cooperative map too, which I really want to get in there and play that because the cooperative Overwatch mode in that game is pretty awesome. Actually, it might be a survival map. I can't remember. So one of the modes, they're adding another map to. So I'd like to get in there and test that out as well. But, yeah, Sniper Elite 4 is awesome, so I'd want to play through this.
Cool. Lastly, on the DLC front, Rock Band 4 getting some new content this week. In the Garden of Eden by Iron Butterfly. So that is the 17-minute rock and or roll album version. So
17 minutes.
17 minutes.
That's insane.
So you can look forward to that if you're still playing Rock Band 4. The PlayStation VR side of things, Super Hot VR. Not the same game as Super Hot, by the way. So if you want to play some Super Hot in VR, which I do, you can do so on Friday.
Now, is Super Hot VR, is it Super Hot in VR, or is this a different game with a different story?
It's a different game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Not to spoil too much about base Super Hot, but the actual, like as you're playing Super Hot itself is a VR game. In like Super Hot, the game is a VR game in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's
very confusing.
It's very
but
meta.
Once you start playing it, you'll see what I'm talking about. it goes some places with that, but
gotcha.
yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. Like the trailer for this game on the PlayStation page just looks insane. You got guys like doing the cross arm pistol shots and stuff, like all these fancy ways of throwing stuff at people. I cannot wait to play this game in VR.
Does look really cool.
Outside of Super Hot VR, there's also Archangel. This is where
Speaking
players
of looking cool.
Yeah, players get to pilot 6-story mechs as you take the fight to an evil corporation's robotic army in a post-apocalyptic America. This game just looks badass.
It really does.
Man,
if they can give you that sense of scale of being in a 6-story mech where you're like shooting down other robots and enemies, like that's gonna be kick-ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been excited to try this one ever since they announced it on the blog last month, I think. So, Bender, you have any interest in this one?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. A 6-story mech. I mean, that's got to be fun.
Who doesn't love 6-story mechs?
Exactly.
It's like getting your own Gundam wing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man. It looks great. I can't wait to hop into that one. I gotta get my headset back again. It's like 2 VR games I absolutely need to buy this week, and I don't have my headset.
Aw.
Man.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, I didn't want it in the way when I was moving. So my buddy was like, dude, I really want to play this. And I was like, yeah, sure, we're moving soon. Here, just keep it out of my way for a while. So I should probably see about getting that back. But I digress. Onto the Vita list, guys. Fallen Legion, Flames of Rebellion, as we mentioned before, hitting the platform, along with 99 Vitas, which, again, cross-buy. So buy it on the Vita, get it on PS4 and PS3.
99 Vitas on the Vita. That's another meta game.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's like mind-blowing stuff.
All right, guys. So on the Xbox, just a quick reminder, Runbow, available right now, and it is free if you're a Xbox Gold subscriber, as the game's with Gold. As far as what else is coming this week, Arcade Archive Neo Geo's Fatal Fury, the Destiny beta, Conga Master, Fortnite, Area, which, by the way, I think is the first Sodesco Xbox physical release. So that's pretty cool. As well as Sniper Elite 4's Deathstorm Part 3 and the Rock Band 4 DLC will be hitting Xbox. As far as new releases for the platform, on Wednesday, What Remains of Edith Finch. Bender, why should people check this game out?
It's a really cool experience. It's not very expensive, but it's not very long. But it's really cool. It's a very emotional story, very unique. I just really liked it. So it's super cool. I don't know.
Yeah. I happened to, I was on the site, and Angels and Demons, also one of our very awesome fans, actually was talking about this game as well. We were talking about some of our favorite games, and you had mentioned this one on your list. He seems to echo everything that you said it's a great game, very emotional. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, check it out.
I've only ever heard good things about this game.
Mm-hmm.
Not only from Bender and Angels, but from everybody else I've ever heard talk about it. Like, everybody seems to really, really like this game. So this is something I need to play as well.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it's in my
Definitely.
backlog too, which I know I pre-ordered it. And that's the part that kills me. Is I've been pretty good about getting through all the stuff I bought this year, but this is the first one I think I bought that I didn't hop into right away. So.
Mm-hmm.
Smallest of shorter games I got to get to at some point. So that's the top of that list, though.
It's like a 2-hour experience, right? Pretty much. Get through in a couple hours.
It's pretty short. It's 2 or 3 hours maybe.
2 or 3 hours.
I forget exactly, but yeah, it's worth it though. I think it's awesome. It's got some really unique ideas going on. Each little vignette is completely different from the others. Some look visually completely different than the rest of the game. So it's a really really fun and really cool game.
Nice.
Nice.
Next on the list here, Moon Hunters is another Wednesday release. You can explore a 1 to 4 player co-op personality test set in an ancient world that's different every time you play it. Multiple playthroughs let you experience the story from different angles and uncover new sides to characters and narratives. Every action you make contributes to your legend as a constellation in the night sky. Sounds pretty cool. Gigantic, apparently coming out of game preview on Thursday. So this is a third-person competitive strategic hero shooter. Sounds to be pretty similar to Overwatch. I think it's free to play. So if you're into those, check that out. That's going to do it for Xbox. So onto the Switch. What we missed last week, Levels Plus, addictive puzzle game. It's a $6.99 puzzle game.
I love that
It's a
name.
great name. I and Me is a $9.99 puzzle platformer where you control 2 cats simultaneously. Could be cool. De Mambo is a $12.99 kind of gladiator-style game where you hold... It's a one-button game. You hold one button to charge an attack and try to knock your opponent off the screen. And Arcade Archives Neo Geo Fatal Fury, also available on the Switch.
Fatal Fury making the rounds.
As far as what's coming this week, arguably the biggest new release of the week, Splatoon 2 is a Friday release. It's, of course, the latest and freshest Squid Paint shooter. Bender, you have any interest in picking up Splatoon 2?
I don't know. I kind of did when I first heard about it, but now the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, you know what? I probably won't ever play it if I were to buy it. So why even spend the money?
Ben, you
You know.
been seeing all the ads for this game during Evo?
Yeah, they man, the Switch promoting itself heavily during Evo for sure. Yeah, I just Splatoon is just not. I'm just not the audience for this game. So from what I've played of it, it's just not doing it for me. So I'm sure it's a fine game, and maybe if I went in there and spent some more time with it, I'd get into it a little bit more. But just didn't like the way it felt. Didn't like the way it just the whole. I just didn't like the way it felt to play this game. So it's a pass for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I didn't even hate the first game. The campaign was actually pretty cool, but I don't feel like I'm the demographic for this game more than anything else. So I'm gonna be passing on that as well. If I hear good things about the single player, I'll probably rent it maybe, to at least play through that. But I can't see myself dropping $60 on this one. But with Splatoon 2 is coming a Splatoon 2 themed Pro controller, which actually does look kind of cool, and the Splat and Chat headset releases on Friday, which I assume the app not far behind on Friday as well. So looking forward to kind of hearing that stuff.
That's actually the thing I'm interested in most with the release of Splatoon 2 is how the app works. But unfortunately, it sounds like we're only going to be able to try it with Splatoon. So kind of out of luck on that.
Oh well. So guys, we got some new amiibos coming out this week too. It's releasing on Friday, which a couple of them are actually Splatoon themed naturally. So the new Inkling Squid, who is a neon purple one. The new Inkling Girl is a neon pink one. The new Inkling Boy, who's a neon green. Aren't these the same color they were before? I don't know.
They look the same, but they're a different color. I think the figures themselves are probably the same exact thing, where they just spray painted them a different color.
Like the gold variants that they did.
Yeah.
Anyways, Corrin and Corrin Player 2. These are from the Smash Brothers line. Corrin Player 2, I believe, is an Amazon exclusive. Cloud from Final Fantasy, finally getting an amiibo. Cloud Player 2 is a GameStop exclusive variant. Bayonetta, and of course Bayonetta, the Player 2 variant, being a Best Buy exclusive. Hooray. As if these things aren't a pain in the ass enough to find. So if you're a amiibo collector, get out there. Don't forget to grab those variants.
Man.
As far as what else is coming to the Switch, tune in next week and find out.
I can't help but I really thought that they would bring out at E3 the Smash Brothers Deluxe Edition, and they would bring it out with the rest of these amiibo, and they get people excited about the Smash. It seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
these things are coming out. How long ago did Smash Brothers come out now? Like a year and a half or something?
It was 2 years ago now, right?
Is it 2 years?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it was 3DS version came out in June, and then the Wii U version came out in November, December of 2015.
Yeah. So it just seems like a missed opportunity. They could have re-promoted the game, got people excited about these new amiibo. I really thought that was going to be a slam dunk. Mm-hmm. Really, still surprised that that's not a thing.
Yeah, or at least announce Bayonetta 2 for the Switch.
Or that, which Platinum's been hinting heavily at some type of involvement in the Switch.
Yeah, they have. Especially Kamiya. Like, people have been tweeting him, like, confirm it. He just sends a smiley face back. It's like, no, it's coming.
I mean, they sent out that picture of the wonderful 101 people playing a game on the Switch. So they've been dropping these little hints. We'll see.
Hopefully soon. All right, so on to the Wii U. Luckily, we didn't miss anything last week. Unfortunately, stuff coming out this week. Galaxy Blasters, a Thursday release, is a $1.49 Pong-looking tower defense-ish space game that I feel is released every other week. And Eba and Egg, a Hatch Trip, a $4.99 puzzle game where you control the two main characters simultaneously. On the 3DS, what we missed last week, Bit Dungeon Plus is an $8 action roguelike endless adventure game. And a couple demos for, there's one from Metopia Casting Call, and hey, Pikmin. As far as what's coming this week, tune in next week to find out. Ben, that's going to do it for the new releases.
Thank you, Franklin, for taking us through the new releases. Let's get on to the news now, fellas, and to the surprise of absolutely no one, we're going to talk some Destiny 2. How about that?
Whoa.
Yeah. So, obviously, IGN has their IGN First program they're running this month. Destiny 2 is the feature title, so damn near every day they're putting out a new nugget of information about the title. So we've got some Destiny 2 stuff to talk about. So let's do it. The most interesting thing they put up this week was a discussion with a couple of the lead writers on the game concerning the story of Destiny 2, which is something we've covered in depth over the last few weeks and months in the lead up to the release of the beta and eventually the release of the full game. But I still continue to be intrigued and really happy with what I'm hearing in terms of the story for Destiny 2 so far. So I want to hit on some of the highlights with you guys here, and then we can talk about them. So the name of this video is "Creating the Story of a Lightless World." So if you haven't watched it yet, it's a 5-minute video. It's on IGN. It's on their YouTube page. So go on there and definitely check it out. But these are some of the things that they touched on, and forgive me, I forget the names of the guys who were involved in this video, but they went on to say this. So Destiny 1. They referred to as quote-unquote steady and reliable. So it supported the world in terms of the story and the pace of the game. Destiny 2 is going to be like the heartbeat of someone exercising. It's going to be like a machine gun. It's going to be this rapid-fire game in terms of its story and its narrative. So what they're getting at here is Destiny 1 was kind of, this thing where a lot of this stuff was happening in the background, and it kind of had this rhythmic kind of slow pace to it. Destiny 2 is going to be much more in your face. There's going to be a lot more happening and coming at you on a moment-to-moment basis. One of the questions they're going to explore with the story of Destiny 2 is this idea of the light. And without the light, does that even make you a guardian? What does it mean to be chosen in this world, and in terms of being chosen by the Traveler? What does it mean to be special? What does it mean to have a higher power in terms of the Traveler choose you to go along this golden path and be this kind of godlike figure? They also talked about how it's a great chance to level the playing field, where this sense of loss can be felt by everyone. So civilians might be looking at this situation different than a Guardian, because they didn't have any powers that they lost in reaction to the loss of the light and to the Cabal invasion. So it kind of puts everybody on this level playing field, and it's going to be very interesting to see how society comes together with former Guardians and civilians in terms of how they're going to rebuild civilization. So I thought that was an interesting point. It's going to be an interesting story to watch as the narrative unfolds. In terms of the Guardian itself, there's more to your Guardian than just your lights, your gun, your armor, the typical stuff that we associate with Guardians. And that's something that Zavala, Cade, and Ikora are gonna figure out firsthand. So they all have something about them and their connection to the light that they have to overcome. So they're really gonna take this whole losing the light thing hard and have to kind of, figure out. They're going to have to kind of reach deep inside their self to kind of overcome this and get back on the path to expel the Cabal from the last city. So this is going to be another very interesting story thread to watch throughout the narrative of Destiny 2, watching how the three Vanguard leaders that we've come to know and love, Zavala, Cade, and Ikora, how they kind of handle this and get through the situation. So it really sounds like we're going to learn a lot about them as characters, and they're going to gain a lot of depth over the course of Destiny 2, so that's pretty exciting. I thought this was interesting, but Destiny 1 was foundational. It was meant to set up the world and ask a lot of questions and not necessarily answer a lot of them, which mission accomplished there, because they sure as hell asked a lot of questions and gave us diddly squat for answers. So they did what they set out to do with that. And they talked about how when they continued to do this concept with the expansions for Destiny 1, so it focused more on expanding the world, expanding the characters. So when we talk about things like the Rise of Iron expansion, it was learning more about the Iron Lords and that kind of whole part of Destiny and expanding the world a little bit further and learning about why can't I remember the main guy's name? What is his name? The Iron Temple guy?
Saladin?
Salad bar.
Yeah, Saladin. So yeah, it was learning about Lord Saladin and his backstory and kind of expanding that corner of the Destiny universe. With the House of Wolves, we expanded on the Fallen and kind of the whole politics system that the Fallen goes through. Obviously, the Taken King was about the Hive and their whole hierarchy of power and that kind of stuff. So, they talked about how in none of this DLC did they focus on the Traveler or the Light. So that's the whole focus of Destiny 2. They're getting back to the Traveler. They're explaining what the Traveler is, what the Light is. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, because that's one of the really big questions about the universe of Destiny right now, is what exactly is the Traveler? What exactly is the Light? Like, how does all of this work? Sounds like we're going to be privy to all of that in Destiny 2's story, and that's pretty exciting. They also wanted to hammer home the point that it's important to realize that Bungie, as a studio, they spent a lot of time building the world with Destiny 1, and now that they have this foundation that they've built, now that they've done all of this world building over the last 3 years, now they're ready to tell stories in this world. And they say, quote-unquote, big, expansive cinematic stories are the stories that they're ready to tell in this world now that we have the foundation for it. They've talked about applying all of the feedback they've heard from Destiny 1 in terms of the narrative, and from everything we've seen so far, that's absolutely the case, if it all pans out that way. They talked about motivating the player and making relatable characters. So if I, as a player, can understand the conflicts that the characters in the game have, and I can map my goals onto their goals, then I'm motivated to experience the story through them. So that's a concept that they discussed. And at the end of the day, they said this, which is probably my favorite thing that they talked about, but they said players are going to ultimately see a wide variety of story channels, an eclectic number of outlets to see the story infused throughout the game. From top to bottom, soup to nuts is the quote they used, there is story everywhere. In fact, one of the guys said, I hope people complain about how much story we have. That's the Reddit thread I would like to read. There's too much damn story. End quote. So, it's a really interesting video, guys. Bender, I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you take from all this, man? What stands out to you when we talk about the story of Destiny 2 and kind of the new little nuggets that we're pulling out of this year?
It's pretty exciting. It sounds like they're really focusing on having a good, interesting narrative this time around, which is a good thing if you ask me. Hopefully they'll... it'll have stuff that keeps us interested throughout and ties up all the loose ends and answers all the questions that are brought up. The first game left a lot of questions unanswered, like you mentioned. I mean, so it was kind of funny. Somebody on Twitter was talking about how she just started playing Destiny 1, and she's mentioned something about the Exo Stranger and was asking people questions, and I was like, I'm sorry, you never really find out who she is. The story was kind of weak, and she was like, "Aw." I was like, "Yeah, sorry." So the story in the first one obviously left a lot to be desired. And they did improve with it, with the expansions and everything. But I'm happy that they're really able to get a fresh start and tell a really good story with this one, and I think they'll do a good job. At least I hope they do.
So is there any reality, is there any alternate timeline where Destiny 2 could have too much story? Is there any way that could ever be a thing? Because to me, there's not.
I don't think so. I can't imagine that.
Yeah. Well, and I've talked about this a lot over the years, but the world that they've created with Destiny and the lore and the universe this sci-fi world that they've created, I absolutely love. I love everything about it. The foundation that they've created is incredible for some of the stories that they can tell through what we've seen in the Grimoire, through what we've played in the game, through what little we do know about the story. I really, really adore this world, and just the potential for stories in here is just limitless at this point. So to hear them to hear that they kind of express that through what they're saying here, like, look, we know we spent a lot of time building the world, and now we're ready to tell like these big stories in this world, and for them to kind of laser focus on a certain aspect of this world. So we're not going to learn the answers to everything. Luke Smith has already talked about they're not going to talk about the darkness in this game. That's going to be a concept for another day. And we know there's going to be some other expansions coming out that look to tackle the War Mines and Osiris. So there are other stories that we're going to be privy to in the future. But the fact that they're going to laser focus on the Traveler and the Light, which are two very, very big concepts in Destiny, flesh those out, explain what that's all about, dive into the Cabal, who was the alien race that was least explored in Destiny 1, and create this kind of this really empathetic villain for the first time in the series. It's just really, really exciting from a Destiny fan's perspective. The fact that we're gonna finally, what it appears, at least from what it appears at this point, finally going to get a story that we can sink our teeth into that's worthy of this very excellent sci-fi world that they've created. Franklin, what do you think about what you're hearing here, man? Or what stands out to you from what they're talking about with the story of Destiny in this video?
Honestly, the thing that I'm probably the most excited about with this game is exploring the effects of all of this on the Vanguard leaders. You know, throughout the first game, you know, we knew of them just as the people telling us why we're going to these places. We didn't really get to dive a whole lot into who exactly they are and like why they're there. You know, so I'm excited to learn more about, like, you know, what makes Zavala Cade and Ikora tick. And it sounds like we're gonna get a lot of that in this game, which is awesome. And honestly, I had the thing is, and in my honest opinion, is the fact that people have been complaining this long about wanting a quality story, I think is actually a testament, you know, to what you were saying about how the world that they created, all these characters, all this lore, the fact that people desperately want to understand more about it, I think is more, it's more of like a statement to like that world and how they ultimately achieve that goal, in my opinion. But I can't wait. I honestly do hope that they tell just a ridiculous amount of stories. I want them. I know all of us do. You know, those of us who really dove into Destiny. You know, we want the lore. We want the stories. So to you know, be told, hey, we're gonna be cramming story down your throat. Please do. I'm gonna wait for the threads where people are still saying, okay, this is great. Give me more.
Yeah, definitely, and that's a good point, man. Like, if this was a world that nobody gave a damn about, then they wouldn't be asking for more stories in this world. They would just be like, who cares? They just give me more of the game, and that's all I really care about. But the fact that people are clamoring for a good story in this world, and because we've seen what's possible with something like the Taken King, where you take this, it was a truncated story experience. It was a few hours long, but we saw some of the potential and what they could do with Destiny in a story like that, in a focused narrative from beginning to end that was just all about one very simple concept of a father getting revenge for the death of his son. Really, that was the whole driving force behind the Taken King. And, you know, that made sense. It made Oryx this just beast creature that runs the Hive and the Taken. It makes even somebody like that, like, kind of empathetic. Like, you can understand his reasoning. Like, look, we killed his son, so he's coming back and he's gonna kill you in revenge. So all that kind of stuff made sense, and the Taken King really is the catalyst for what we're seeing with Destiny 2. It kind of got the whole ball rolling with the new direction that Destiny was gonna take, and I really love this idea too, Frankie, about getting the story through this wide variety of channels. So we've seen them talk about some of this stuff in the recent past, where there's going to be stories in these adventures that you take, or there's going to be scannable objects in the environment that are going to expand on the story. Obviously, we're going to have the cinematic story missions. We're going to have expansions. We don't know how much story we're going to get in the strikes or in the raids now. You know, there could be an enhanced story thing from that perspective. But I really like this idea of just kind of every inch of Destiny being covered in story and lore. And that's pretty exciting, man.
I agree.
Cool. So also they talked about Destiny this week. We got to look at a couple of new Crucible maps. So we saw Vostok, which is actually the area outside of the Iron Temple. So I thought that was cool that we saw the Iron Temple back in action. They've carved out some catacombs in some of the mountains as well in that map. So looks to be a little bit of a larger map, but it looks cool. Love the Iron Temple. I love that setting. So the fact that that's still a thing, at the very least in the Crucible, is cool. The Endless Veil we saw as well, which is a map set on Nessus, which is the planetoid that the Vex have kind of taken over or colonized, whatever you want to call it. That's a much more close quarters map. We saw Control in action on that map, so that looks pretty rad as well. Speaking of Control, we've got some changes coming to Control. I'm curious to get you guys' thoughts on it here. So obviously we know Control is a 4v4 mode now, as all of the Crucible maps are now in Destiny 2. And IGN had a video this week where they showed some of that in action on the Endless Veil map. And these are the big changes that are coming to Control. So it's not just the fact that it's 4v4, but there's some other things that they're doing now with the mode. So I think we can pretty much all agree Control was our favorite mode in the original Destiny. It's a great PvP mode. It's one that even if you're not the best at killing the other team, like, you can participate by capturing points, and that was always what made Control a really cool mode. So first and foremost, capture points are no longer capture faster if multiple people are standing on them. So that's point number one. You can activate a power play if you capture all points. Now, a power play is you'll get even more points per kill. So if you capture all 3 zones, then you jack up your points that you get for kills even more, which is cool. Now, point A and C on the map automatically begin as captured. So when you start the map, you're either going to be at point A or point C. That one will already be captured for you, and B is the only point that's going to be available. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the strategies play out. Like, are you going to run for point B as a team? Are you going to break off and have your guys run to point A or C, whichever one you don't already have captured? So it's gonna create an interesting dynamic at the beginning of these matches. Capture is no longer a 2-step process. So you no longer have to neutralize the capture point. Now you just stand on it and you capture it. Matches are now 8 minutes long, so these will be even shorter than the original Control matches, which makes sense. You've got smaller teams, smaller maps, and play. So I think that's a change that fits right in. The Mercy rule will, of course, be enabled. So if you just smoke the other team, then they'll end the match. It doesn't sound like the Mercy rule will be involved in the beta, but it will be something in the final version of the game. So, Frankie, what do you think about these changes, man? You on board with these Control changes?
Yeah, a lot of them seem like good quality of life changes, especially starting with A and C captured. That's that takes the first minute out of every match at least, because that's all we did. You start the game, run to the closest point, and then go from there. But yeah, like you were saying, I think like looking at this, these are going to be 4-player matches, so I mean it'll probably be us most of the time. But like having
Bingo, bango.
having a group to coordinate a strategy with is going to be really important. Like, do you leave a couple guys behind to defend? Do you send a couple guys out to capture B? Do you go for C? Like, it's going to be a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Intimate.
Intimate, tactical.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like that mode's going to continue to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to experiencing that.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be intense, dude. With just four people on each team, like, you're really gonna have to think about your strategy at that point. Yeah, like you said, like, do I leave one guy at our point to keep an eye on this? Do I leave nobody here and we just deal with it if somebody tries to take it? Do we send the whole team into the middle and try to capture B as a unit? Do we break off in pairs of 2s and try to capture both of the points we don't have? Try to get the power play going early. That kind of stuff is all going to come into play. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. What do you think about these changes, Bender? Are you on board with this?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good changes, especially considering that it's only going to be 4-man teams. It's very interesting that the points will already be captured for A and C, and then you just have to decide what to do from there. I also thought it was interesting that, like, when you're close to the flag, they made the flag like turn transparent so it doesn't get in your way when you're trying to like shoot someone. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm down for the changes to Control. It seems pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's another good point. I forgot all about that. But just a small tweak, like Frankie mentioned, like a quality of life thing in the mode where the flag is no longer going to be waving in your face. It's transparent. you can shoot through. It doesn't get in the way. So I think that makes a whole lot of sense. What'd you think of these two maps, Bender? Did you get a chance to look at them? We got Vostok in the Iron Temple, and then we got this one, in the Vex Stronghold. You think these look pretty cool?
Yeah, they do. I think they look really cool. They're really interesting. I like the way they're designed, especially the one on Nessus, because I was watching them like do that tour of it, and there's like multiple paths to go down through to the different control points and stuff. So I like the way that that they laid those out. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, there's kind of a couple different lanes you can take, and so that's once again going to lead to some intense battles in those lanes. Yeah, but I dig it. Now, in addition to the maps and the watching control in action, we also got to see some of the subclasses in action. So we've seen the Dawnblade Warlock. We've seen that subclass previously, but we got another video over here. We saw the Striker and the Sentinel Titan, so we learned a little bit more about how those classes work. Really like how the Striker Sentinel, his super is now not a one and done thing. You're kind of charged up and you can run around the map and use it a few times before it wears out. So that's the what they call it, the Fist of Havoc. So that's cool to be able to do that multiple times. That's going to be really useful, especially in PvE. And then we saw a little more from the Sentinel Titan as well. So we saw him throwing the shield around, bashing enemies. We also saw that the Sentinel Titan can still use a bubble if he chooses. So he'll have the option of kind of activating the shield or activating the bubble, which gives him some versatility. Not sure if those are nodes that you have to pick. It's unclear right now if you'll have to choose whether you want to use the shield or the bubble prior to a match, or if you'll be able to kind of use both of those as you see fit. But that's cool to know that the bubble has returned, and at the very least, armor of light has returned. We saw that in there, so I'm sure weapons of light is probably in there at some point as well. And then we saw the confirmed return of the Voidwalker Warlock as well. So this was the first time this week we saw the Voidwalker in action. We saw some changes to the Nova Bomb. At one point, they threw out this bomb that was just this huge, like, spirit bomb type thing from like Dragon Ball Z. And it was floating through the map, so that looked pretty rad. We saw the what else did we see? The Sentinel Titan has the Void Wall grenade that the Hunter has right now. So we saw that in there. We saw the Voidwalker has the Blink ability, which this is the first time we had seen that in action as well. So some cool stuff that we saw from the subclasses in action. Benner, did you get a chance to watch him in action? Anything stand out to you from any of those videos?
I didn't get to see all of them. I'm actually looking at some of the Voidwalker gameplay right now.
Nice.
I saw that spirit bomb thing like you were talking about. That looks really weird. I wonder how that's going to work with
it looks like it tracks you. Like it's winding. Yeah. It kind of winds around the corner, and which is an interesting touch. It's a slow moving, like, tracking ball of energy.
Yeah, and when you were talking about, I didn't realize because I didn't see the Titan Striker. I mean the Sentinel video. I didn't realize you could still use the bubble.
Yeah.
Have they confirmed that self-res is gone? Because if they can do that with the bubble, they can do that with self-res with the Dawnblade.
I don't believe they've confirmed that it's gone. No, I think it could still be a thing.
Could still be a thing. There's still hope.
Yeah, that was such a useful ability, man. I hope that's in there somewhere.
Yeah, me too.
How many times did self-res save our ass in the prison or in a raid or whatever?
So many times.
Too many times to count. In the Nightfall, yeah. Too many times to count. So yeah. So that's an interesting point, but there is hope that maybe some of these other abilities we've come to know and love could be a part of one of these other classes. So Dawnblade with that offense with self-res, man. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Frankie, you get a chance to see any of this kind of stuff, man? You excited the Voidwalker is back in the game?
Absolutely. That's probably still my favorite subclass. The only one I saw a little bit of was the Sentinel video. I can't wait to get in there and try that class out, man. Just whip around a shield like Captain America. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Looks like a ton of fun. A lot of versatility with that class as well, from what we're seeing in terms of the way you can use the shield. You can use it to block. You can use it for offense. You have the bubble option now. So there's going to be a lot of different things that player can do, which is going to be very useful in a wide variety of situations. So yeah, Sentinel Titan looks to be pretty awesome.
What do hunters do? Like pole dancing or something that Brent's all excited about?
Yeah, Brent will be up on the pole shaking his stuff.
Team Decoy.
The hunters turn into a Platinum Games character. So
okay.
it's kind of how that works. So
that works.
Yeah. So, yeah, so they'll do some cool stuff. We also we saw an interesting video with the sound of Destiny 2. You know, you guys mentioned the music that's on the Destiny 2 beta title screen right now, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a sizable chunk of music too. If you just let it play,
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty decent amount of music on there, and it sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they talked about obviously the feel of the game and the sound of the game, which is a very, very big part of Destiny, and it's one of its signatures. The soundtrack in that game is phenomenal. But one of the interesting things I want to get your guys' thoughts on is they talked about how they're actually mixing the audio differently for PvP and PvE. So when you're in the Crucible now, they wanted to design the sound around being able to hear the enemies more so than your own teammates. So they want you to be able to hone in on where the enemies are through like footsteps or gun cues and that kind of stuff. So I thought that was interesting that they're going to actually have two different sound design philosophies built around the two different aspects of the game. What do you think about that, Frankie? I think that's kind of a novel approach to things.
Yeah, I like it. I'm shaking my head because when is it the Hammer of Soul for the Titans?
Yep.
Yeah.
When that thing claps.
Yeah. I remember a couple of Iron Banners where we were capturing a point, and then you just hear that, and you're like, just start running, hoping run into that person. That'd be nice to be able to pinpoint where it came from.
Yeah, that sound scares the hell out of me too. When I hear that thing go off, I'm like, oh man, I'm about to get wrecked. Let me start running. What do you think about that, Bender? I don't know that I've ever heard a game specifically call out a different sound design for the PvP and the PvE.
Yeah, that's very interesting, but I like that. I like that idea. It helps you to kind of hone in on your enemies and stuff, not being distracted by the sounds your teammates are making. If only they could make it easier to distinguish your teammates' grenades versus enemies' grenades, because a lot of times in PvP I'll see like a solar grenade burning. I'm like, is that mine or is that theirs or ours? I don't know. I don't want to go near it.
Yeah, and those art grenades that are like stuck to the wall. I never know if those are my guys or the enemies. I'm like, do I just run through here and chance it or what?
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with supers, with like you see a void bomb still burning or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like I don't want to get close to that thing.
Yeah, it sounds like that's going to be a focus of them as well. They've talked about kind of calling out whose super is charged and that kind of stuff in the Crucible. So I feel like that's probably a change that we're going to see as well. Let's see how that all plays out. Yeah, so cool idea with the sound. They also mentioned, too, there will, of course, be some new songs, but there will also be some familiar melodies that we've come to associate with Destiny as well. So some of those kind of signature sounds that we've grown accustomed to over the last 3 years will be found in this game as well. So I'm totally on board for that. Then the final bit of Destiny news that we need to talk about here is this slick PS4 Pro bundle. And I don't know about you guys, but I think this thing looks pretty badass in white. Looks really slick.
I had the base PS4, the white Destiny one. That was a nice console.
Nice. Yeah, I really like the white on the PS4 Pro. The black accents in between the grids like really stand out and kind of look and look pretty fresh on here. The other nice thing, fresh Splatoon reference. The other nice thing about this package is it comes with the Destiny 2 that comes with the premium digital content and the expansion pass.
The deluxe edition.
So this is like the $90 $100 version of the game that's coming inside of this Pro package for only $449. So this is a really good deal if you're looking to jump into Destiny 2. You don't yet have a PS4 Pro. You'll basically save $50 on a copy of the Destiny 2 Deluxe Edition and the console itself, which I think is pretty damn good. What do you think of this console, Bender?
I think it looks really nice.
Yeah,
I'm almost tempted to get one.
You don't have a Pro either. You have Motive.
I don't have a Pro. You're right,
dude. You'd be set, man. Did you pre-order the digital version of Destiny already?
I already pre-ordered
You
it.
sell that code. You make the $50 back,
Mm,
There you go.
true.
Fun
true.
and profit.
You have options. Yeah, and that white is slick, man. That looks really nice. Cool.
Mhm.
So that is the Destiny 2 news this week. So the information keeps flowing, and with the Destiny 2 beta next week, man, there's only going to be more of that to come. We're finally going to get our hands on it. I can't wait, guys. Super pumped for Tuesday. So with that, we are going to take a quick break here. We've got some new music from Ruel Ethan. So follow him on Twitter at Ruel Ethan, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. Thank you again to Ruel Ethan for providing music for the show. He does the opening, does the closing, does the intermission, does all the music on this show. So we really appreciate it, man. The listeners really like it. So keep doing your thing, man. Give him a follow once again at Ruel Ethan. Now, let's move on with the news, fellas, and let's talk some Battlefront 2 right now. So this week we got the details on the open beta that's actually coming in October. So if you pre-order the game, you'll actually have 2 days early access to it. So it'll start on October 4th if you pre-order the game, October 6th for everyone else, and it'll run until October 9th. So it's an open beta. So if you don't pre-order the game, the 6th to the 9th, if you do pre-order it the 4th to the 9th, and what we're going to be able to play during this beta is a match of Galactic Assault on Naboo, which this is the gameplay type and the map that we saw during E3. So this is the 40-player massive battle between the clone army and the separatist army that we saw taking place on that map there. So this is kind of the big sprawling, stayed different phases of the stage and whatnot. We saw them trying to push into the square and then make their way into the throne room and capture the throne room and all that stuff. So there's 3 distinct phases that you had to go through in this game. It's a 40-player map, so it's big. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. You'll be able to choose from 4 different trooper classes. So you've got the assault troopers, which are classic flankers, the heavy troopers, which use high-powered weapons and personal body shields to take ground and hold it, officers, which power up their teammates with buffs and deploy remote weapons to support their allies. So just sounds like a classic support class. And then specialists who lay traps and snipe from a distance. So you have access to all 4 of those classes. And then there'll obviously be some heroes involved as well. They haven't said exactly who you'll be able to play as on this map, but of course there'll be that plus the vehicles from the prequel era as well that you'll be able to have access to. So like the Naboo starfighters, the kind of hover tanks that we saw in the prequels as well. So basically everything we saw from that Naboo map during E3 we'll have access to during the beta. We're also going to have access to a mode they're calling Starfighter Assault, which is something that they haven't officially unveiled. They haven't shared any specific details about it, but they have said that you'll be able to take part in an epic starfighter assault set during the original trilogy era, piloting an assortment of Star Wars' greatest ships in an objective-based multi-stage battle. We'll be learning more about Starfighter Assault at Gamescom next month. So we'll get our first taste of what that's going to be all about in terms of the multiplayer. So, Frankie, October 4th, the Battlefront 2 beta comes out. A couple of pretty rad sounding modes here. You down to hop into this?
Hell yeah. Especially the Starfighter Assault thing. That sounds awesome. Space battles.
Sounds a little bit like maybe what they started with that Death Star DLC. They had that kind of multi-objective trench run set on the Death Star, which looked like an awesome mode, which I never actually got to play. But yeah, I'm totally on board for this Starfighter Assault too. Sounds badass. The question is, are we going to be able to put Destiny down for a minute to play Battlefront 2? Not only in beta form, but when the game actually comes out.
It's a good-looking question. It's actually a very good-looking question because that's October 4th, you said? That's
October 4th.
Battle Chasers week, so I don't know. I'm on vacation that week.
Oh, there you go. So you definitely got to make some time when you're on vacation.
Yeah, that's doable.
Ben, are you excited for Battlefront 2? What do you think about this beta, man?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. The first one was cool, and this looks like this one they're taking this to the next level. So definitely, I really want to jump into it and check it out.
Do you like the idea of these big, like, sprawling stages with different objectives and 30, 40 players on a map at a time? Is that something that appeals to you?
Yeah, it does. And I really like the changes they're making to some of the mechanics, especially in regards to the heroes. Yeah, where it's not like a token that you can run over and pick it up. It's something you actually have to earn, and there's different ways to complete objectives or help out your team or whatever to earn the right to use those heroes. I think that's awesome. So I think that's going to be a much better system.
Yeah, definitely. Now, when this game officially comes out, I believe it's November 17th is the date for it. At this point, Destiny will have been out for a few months. Do you feel like this is something that we'll be able to jump into, maybe like as a palate cleanser, get kind of a change of pace from all the Destiny we've been playing up to that point?
I think so. I think that'll give us some time to get all the preliminary Destiny excitement out of the way, and it's something that I can't see us playing it like all the time, but it's something that I could see us playing from time to time when we want to take a break from Destiny and do something else. I think that'd be something that'd be pretty fun to do.
Frankie, what if they release like an expansion around this time? That could be like the great wrench in the plans, where they're like, first DLC pack, November 24th or something like that. They come out with that, or they release a new raid, or something comes out at that time. Is anything going to derail us from playing this game?
Honestly, for me, no. I only say that because I was talking to Brent the other day, and I don't know when I'm actually going to fully hop into Destiny 2. I'm probably not going to jump in there because I know you guys are probably, like I said, going to be a little, like, have more time to play it than I will, so I'm going to wait, which I'm fine with. But, yeah, I'm actually really excited about Battlefront 2, honestly. So, like, if coming into that time, like, I'm probably just going to set aside time to play that itself, and I don't know where I'm going to be with Destiny 2 at that point. I mean, maybe by then I'll be in there, but I definitely want to get through Shadow of War. That's the big one that I'm looking at that I really want to finish before really jumping in and committing to Destiny 2. just because I know if I don't, I'll probably never play Shadow of War, and I really want to play Shadow of War. So
yeah, Shadow of War is the victim of an unfortunate release date. So that one's going straight to the backlog for me, unfortunately. So yeah, probably won't have time to play it when it's coming out. Like I said, it's unfortunate, but just is what it is, man. They just had to delay the damn game a couple months. Just had to do it. So that puts it in a rough window there, in a post-Destiny world, and a lot of other stuff coming out at that time. So
yeah, plus if work continues the way it is, like I haven't been getting home until like 12:30 in the morning. So
oh wow,
yeah. So I don't know. Like I know you guys are typically about finishing up around then. So even if I do get on, it'll probably be around my typical 11:30. So we'll probably get an hour or two, anyways. So
well, when it comes to Destiny,
that's true.
And it's 12:30.
That's yeah. It's a good point.
You don't need to worry about having a partner, man. I'll be there at 12:30 still. I assure you. I will still be on the game at 12:30 whenever you get home. So yeah. Cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Battlefront though. And speaking of Battlefront, Disney's D23 Expo going on right now. Mm-hmm. So they had a video game panel today, which I watched, which was pretty good. And they kicked it off with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Not a whole lot of new information, but they had a new behind the scenes thing, and it's similar to what we're hearing from Destiny. Just I really like what we're hearing about the story of Battlefront 2 and the care that they're putting into it, and just from all aspects, from the actors involved to the people writing the story to the developers behind it. They're kind of all in on this story and they really feel like they're telling an important story, a story that's an important part of the Star Wars universe that's going to connect some very, very specific dots that we don't have connected right now in terms of the end of the Return of the Jedi and the beginning of the Force Awakens. So I'm really, really intrigued. They showed a few snippets, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the first time we've ever seen any single-player footage of this game. But they showed a very few brief snippets in this video that they played, this kind of behind-the-scenes video. And it looks great. So really, really looking forward to that. Now, speaking of D23, there were some other things to discuss from this video game panel here. And first and foremost, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out firing on all cylinders. So they had 2 or 3 trailers for this game that they showed during this segment. So everybody was excited about Kingdom Hearts 3. That was the big thing behind this panel. Even though there was some Star Wars stuff, even though there was Marvel stuff, we knew there wasn't going to be anything big revealed on that front, but people were really looking forward to the Kingdom Hearts segment. So Tetsuya Nomura himself was out on the stage talking about the game, brought these trailers out. So he brought out this first trailer of the game, which we saw Sora in the Hercules world, engaging in some pretty cool-looking combat, fighting some cool enemies, doing some pretty fast-paced encounters and sections of that map. So that was awesome. Then the big thing about the game, which we heard prior to this, was they were going to reveal a new world to explore. So, and many people were hoping it was going to be something Pixar related. So that's what they did. They came out Pixar and they went straight to the top of the food chain. They went right for Toy Story, and this trailer was awesome. So Buzz and Woody look awesome. The characters look exactly like they do in a Pixar movie. So we're now at the point where we used to say man, this game almost looks like a Pixar movie. Well, this game looks like a Pixar movie. It is the Pixar characters in a game looking like a Pixar movie. So we saw, not only did we see this cinematic that revealed kind of when Sora and Donald and Goofy get to the Toy Story world, but then we see this extended gameplay segment of them fighting alongside Buzz and Woody, and we saw a lot more of this game than I was expecting to see. So all said and done, by the time all these trailers were finished, we saw 4 or 5 minutes of gameplay, and it was clear to me at this point, wow, this game is much further along than I expected it to be. I really was not expecting Kingdom Hearts 3 anytime soon. And to cap all of this off, at the end of this Toy Story trailer, they slapped the 2018 date onto the back of this trailer, and that is when people lost their
Keyblade!
So many were hoping that this was going to be a 2018 title. Square has now officially confirmed it. Will this stick? Who knows? And we know that Square doesn't have the best track record in terms of releasing this stuff. But like I said, it was clear from what we saw here that the game was running great in these trailers. And we've seen several different areas of this game now. And I think this game's much further along than a lot of people, and certainly myself, thought it would be. I don't know. Did either of you guys get a chance to see this Kingdom Hearts footage? Bender, did you get a chance to watch this? What'd you think, man?
Yeah, I got a chance to see it. Like you said, it looked amazing. Like, it looks like a Pixar movie. They made Sora and Donald and Goofy look into, like, they made them look like toys in the Toy Story world.
Yeah, that
was really
awesome.
cool. Yeah. And we saw Rex and Ham and all those characters, and they just look like they do in the movie. It's pretty impressive. The gameplay looked super fun. I can totally see myself jumping into that game, and that's gonna be my primary motivation for trying to finish Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 before the third one comes out. Even if there's things I don't like about them, I'm gonna try to play through them before that game comes out, because I really want to jump into Kingdom Hearts 3 when it comes out, because that looked really, really awesome.
You've got some time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think I've got some time.
Yeah, and when they put that 2018 date on there, I think at the very earliest we're talking fall of 2018.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so more than likely this is going to be a late 2018 title, and it's one of those things that could possibly slip into 2019. I don't think we're looking at a Final Fantasy 15 situation where this thing is going to slip year after year after year. I think this game will see the light of day sooner rather than later. But yeah, I was pretty surprised to see Kingdom Hearts 3 with a 2018 date, even though that's what a lot of people were hoping, because this thing's been in the news for a while. And it gives me hope that maybe, just maybe, we're a little bit closer to Final Fantasy 7 than I think we are, the Final Fantasy 7 remake. We'll see, though, because all of these same people that are working on 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, these are all the same people that are involved with Final Fantasy 7. So there's a lot of cooks to go around to all these different kitchens, and I'm not sure how much they can actually focus on Final Fantasy 7 right now. Frankie, what'd you think of what we saw from Kingdom Hearts 3?
I only saw a couple of screenshots. I was scrolling through my timeline on Twitter. This game looks awesome, man.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I've never played through any Kingdom Hearts games. I did score them on Prime Day. Thanks a lot, Amazon. So
Thanks, Amazon.
The funny thing is, Jen actually loves these games. She played through them on the PlayStation 2. So when I bought those, it's like, hey, we need to sit down and play through these sometime soon-ish. So she's excited. I know she's really looking forward to hopping back into those games and playing some of the other side games that she's never played before. So I'm excited. I love when we could sit down. I hand her the controller for once and just sit back and watch. It's a great time. So she's very excited about Kingdom Hearts 3. We were actually eating dinner when this stuff started coming out. So it's like, oh, they're bringing
nice.
Toy Story, and she's like, we need to play this game. Do you have? It's the only Amazon pre-order I've kept because I forget when, but at some point it was pre-orderable for like $40.99. So I just left it on there because it's a $60 game for basically $41. So.
Thanks, Amazon.
Yeah, awesome all around. Love you, Amazon. So yeah, I'm excited.
Amazon.
These games look
hooking the people up.
totally. I also got the Crash Bandicoot, for $6. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Securing that
That's
NPD spot for another month.
Oh yeah, that thing was selling like hotcakes when it was on there for $6. So.
Yeah. Man, but I was surprised they didn't cancel them. That's been my luck. I get these deals and they cancel them, but they entered all of them.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
I was surprised as well. Yeah, that's awesome. I too have to play through Kingdom Hearts. I have all the Kingdom Hearts games multiple times over. I think I have all of them on PS2. I think I bought all of the reruns on PS3, and I own the whole entire series on PS4 as well. So at some point, I should probably play this damn game since I own it about 7 different times. But yeah, I really want to play through Kingdom Hearts. Final Fantasy and Disney are two things I just absolutely love. So both of those coming together. Always heard great things about Kingdom Hearts. I think they look really fun. Kingdom Hearts 3 just looks badass. So Toy Story's my favorite Pixar property. So to see that in action in a game world, it's gonna be pretty exciting. So yeah, I thought it was a really strong showing for Kingdom Hearts. So I know the crowd was really jazzed for it. So a couple other things from D23 that we want to mention here. So we had a Marvel panel as well, which had Brian Intihar from Insomniac. He was out there with I believe he was out there with Bill Roseman from Marvel Games. They were talking about Spider-Man. Once again, not any like big like new nuggets or anything to come out of it from what I saw. But we did see some concept art, which showed for the first time Spider-Man fighting Kingpin, which we assumed was going to be part of the game, as we saw from the demo at E3. We saw the inside of Peter Parker's bedroom. So Insomniac has been hinting at kind of a role that Peter Parker is going to play in this game. So I think we're going to kind of get into a little bit of Peter Parker as well. It's not just going to be all Spider-Man all the time. So I'll be interested to see how they weave that angle in on the character. And they mentioned all of this stuff is from the beginning of the game. So the Wilson Fisk fight, the Mr. Negative stuff that we saw at E3, like this is all from the beginning of the game. And Intihar stressed like there are a ton of villains in this game, which is awesome. This is a sprawling story that's going to have Spider-Man as arguably the greatest rogues gallery in all of the superhero world. So to know that a lot of his awesome villains are going to be in this game, in this awesome-looking game, is really exciting as a Spider-Man fan.
This amazing-looking game?
Is a spectacular-looking game, yeah. Sensational, ultimate-looking game. Then how about this nugget? So apparently the open world in Spider-Man is several times larger than Sunset Overdrive's open world. So Frankie, what does that mean? How big was Sunset City?
I'm not sure. I think I've only played about 2.5 hours of that game, and I don't care to play much more of it, so I didn't explore too much.
Gotcha. So I don't know how big Sunset City was because I didn't play Sunset Overdrive either. But to hear that it's several times bigger than that game, that was an open world game, right?
Yeah,
you could go around and do stuff. So that was an open world game. This is an open world game that's several times larger than that one. Seems like this is going to be a pretty big version of New York City to swing around in. They showed some of the kind of the free swinging in that making of or the behind the scenes video. They had a D23 as well. Just looks great, man. This game looks absolutely stunning. I have to get my hands on this game.
Did you see that Miles is going to be playing a big role in the story too?
No, I know he made that cameo at the end of the trailer, which was cool. Mm-hmm. But they said he's going to be involved in the story pretty heavily too.
Yes, yeah. They're not, of course, not talking too much about it, but they've said he's going to play a big role in the story. So awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Miles Morales is a great character. So to see him in the game as well, to hear about all these villains, to hear about this big, sprawling, epic story that they're putting together, man, this game just going to be sick. I just absolutely cannot wait for this game.
It's like a lock for your game of the year next year.
It's going to be tough competition for that one. Yeah. Yeah, but if you give me a Spider-Man game that's done right, like there's not a whole lot that could be better than that in this comic book fan's eyes. Also, from that Marvel panel, they confirmed that the Sanzaru, our friends from the Sly Cooper Thieves in Time game, they are making a new Marvel VR game that's titled Powers United. It's going to be exclusive to the Oculus Rift. Damn it! So, yeah. So maybe this will be one of those exclusives in quotes, and we'll get it somewhere else down the line. But yeah, looked pretty rad. You're taking control of several different heroes, and at one point you were Rocket Raccoon. You were shooting things. You were Captain Marvel. You were the Hulk. So don't know exactly the crux of the game, what you're going to be doing in it, but
do you care?
Being able to hop into no, I don't. Being able to hop into a VR game and just have like superpowers and do stuff. That sounds like a fun time to me. So whatever they come up with, Sanzaru's a cool developer. Like they make cool games. I definitely want to see what that's all about. Frankie, you building a PC for this game?
I'm really considering it. I really do want to get an Oculus Rift. or Vive. I'm leaning towards a Rift, but I really do want to undertake that at some point. Possibly. It would be cool to be able to play this.
Yeah. Bender, did you order a now $399 Oculus Rift?
No. I'll just sit back and hope that this comes to PS4 or PlayStation VR.
Yeah, you and me both, man. So that's the D23 Expo. Once again, that video is on YouTube if you want to go on there and check out the whole show. It was a pretty cool event. Now let's move on to some PlayStation stories, guys. And how about this? Gran Turismo Sport has a launch date, October 17th. We knew it was coming out this fall from E3, but now we have an official date on it, October 17th. The closed beta for the title ends this week, so if you're in there, be aware of that. I know all of us on the show we aren't the biggest racing fans, especially sim racing, but I actually really like Gran Turismo and games like Gran Turismo and Forza Motorsport. It's just a matter of these are those games that if you really get in there and you dedicate yourself to them, like you can easily become addicted to these titles, and they're a lot of fun. So if that is something that excites you, and if you got time for that, Gran Turismo Sport on October 17th. At the very least, it's going to be a beautiful looking game, right? So, so it'll be a great looking title. Also, really interested to see the VR integration in this game. I feel like Polyphony, that obviously they're a great developer, and I know they got to be jazzed about actually getting you inside of one of these like heavily detailed cars that they're creating. So to put somebody in there in a VR world, and I'm really curious to see how Gran Turismo Sport does in that setting. What do you think, Frankie? You think this is going to be kind of the definitive VR racing experience when this actually comes out?
It could be. I know Drive Club, a lot of people had motion sickness problems with it.
Yeah, that was the big thing with that game.
Yeah, which I would assume it has to be because you're sitting down, feeling like you're driving and you're not moving, so that might play into it, but I don't know. The other thing I'm going to be really curious about with this game overall is, its comparison to Drive Club, because that game looked impressive, like beyond impressive in my opinion, but some of the footage I've seen of GT Sport, actually, like it's leaving me kind of concerned, like they're not going to hit that, and I think that would kind of be bad, I guess.
So you think Drive Club's going to look better than Gran Turismo Sport?
Judging by the footage that we've seen so far, I think so, and that's weird to think about. That's a launch game.
Yeah, we'll see when it all plays out. I'd be very surprised if Gran Turismo Sport looks any worse than Drive Club. So yeah, we'll see when all's said and done, though. Now, moving on from there, Ni no Kuni 2. It's been delayed to 2018, and this is honestly probably the best thing that could have happened for this game. So it was scheduled to release November 10th. It was going to be right in the thick of the fall rush. Call of Duty, like the shooters are coming out around that time. Battlefront's at that time. There's a lot going on around that November 10th release date, and a title like Ni no Kuni is just not going to be able to shine like it probably deserves to. So moving this title to January 19th of 2018, for whatever the reason they decided to delay it, seems like a good move to me. What do you think, Frankie?
I agree. Although the main thing that I would argue it wouldn't really matter is I don't think that people buying Call of Duty are buying Ni no Kuni. But I think pushing it away from those games and kind of maybe giving it a chance to have a little spotlight to itself, would attract the casual fans who maybe would have passed it over for Call of Duty, because this game looks gorgeous. Like, I don't know if those of you out there have like seen the game in action, but these games look awesome. So I think like I said, giving it kind of a chance to shine, maybe give it a chance to bring in some of the more casual guys who maybe would have overlooked it otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a hardcore following that's going to buy Ni no Kuni 2 no matter what. And, of course, those probably aren't the same people that are playing Call of Duty. But this is a game that could easily just get lost in the fall shuffle, regardless of how excited you are for this game or not. And, yeah, there is, I think, a contingent of fans that you're going to miss out on by releasing it during that very busy window. So this is what Level 5 CEO and the director of the game, Akihiro Hino had to say. He said, quote, "We have decided that more development time is required in order to deliver the full Ni no Kuni 2 experience to our fans. I deeply apologize to those who have been looking forward to this game's release." He also clarified that the game will not feature any multiplayer content. Please rest assured, however, that we will continue to strive to provide a deep and satisfying single-player experience that our fans can look forward to enjoying. What do you think about all this, Bender? You think this is a good move, bad move, moving to January 19th?
It's probably a good move. Yeah, because January tends to be a slower month with game releases. Well, sometimes anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be good for them to have some breathing room for that game. I'm gonna have to go back and play the first one. I'm kind of hoping they're gonna do like a remaster version or something for PS4. Then I can check out the first one. That'd be nice.
That'd be cool.
That'd be nice. The game, first Ni no Kuni often on sale on the PS3 for like $5. So
I picked it
keep
up.
your eyes out. Yeah, keep your eyes out for that. It's on sale a lot, so I think you'll probably be able to pick it up for a pretty good deal if you wanted to go that route.
That first game reviewed very well. A lot of people love that game.
Oh yeah, very very highly regarded game. Yeah, like you said, people absolutely love it, especially JRPG fans. And just thinking about the release date for Ni no Kuni. I love Japanese role playing games, and I'm probably more likely to buy something like Ni no Kuni when it comes out in January as opposed to November when I'm like buying other stuff. So I feel like there's a lot of people that are like that are, I don't get to play every single role-playing game that comes out because I don't have the time for that anymore. So there's that contingent who's going to buy this game no matter what. But for other people like me who just like to play everything, like games of all different genres and like the rest of us on the podcast here, I feel like for us, like they're going to be able to get a lot more of us by having this game out in January as opposed to November. So it's probably a good move.
Yeah, that's a good point because I know for me personally, like that's getting into my busy time of the year where if I do buy anything, I'm not going to touch it for a while. But January, things are a lot slower. If I pick something like this up, I'll get to play it sooner, so I'll be more likely to pick it up in the first place. So
yeah, definitely. And also, just what you were talking about, Bender, reminded me. From what I understand, Ni no Kuni 2, there's a whole new cast of characters, whole new stories. So you won't have to have played the first Ni no Kuni in order to understand this one. So no rush if you can't get to the first one.
I think they also changed up the combat system or mechanics for 2.
Yes. It is a different combat system. It's a real-time system. The demo they showed at E3 was spectacular. I mean, spectacular. This was a fantastic-looking game. It looked like a lot of fun in motion. It was running great. It just looked like a Miyazaki film, like playing out in front of you. It's pretty incredible.
Nice.
Yeah, just a gorgeous title. So, Ni no Kuni hopefully getting the spotlight it deserves in early 2018 now. Now, a game that I will be playing when it comes out is Sundered. And we have an official launch date for it now, July 28th. Yes. So we are just a couple weeks away now from, speaking of gorgeous-looking games, man, the 18-minute demo I saw of this game on PlayStation's E3 show was just like jaw-on-the-floor kind of stuff. Just incredibly beautiful in motion. The fluid animations are amazing. The hand-drawn characters look just out of this world. The whole Metroidvania style of game, which is one that I love. The roguelike elements, the choosing to resist or embrace, and the different effects that has on your character. The skill tree, like this is everything. This looks to be everything that I want out of a video game. So I've been eagerly anticipating this launch for a very long time. July 28th. We knew it was coming out in July, just around the corner. Bender, are you excited for Sundered?
I am. It's a really cool game. I got a chance to play it a little bit at PAX South. I really enjoyed what I played. It's one of those games that you will die a lot, but every time you die, you're gaining more and more, experience, and you can unlock newer powers. So as you die, you get a little bit better each time because you're increasing your abilities, and that helps you to progress a little further every time. So I think that's really, really cool. It's not a roguelike in the sense that you lose everything when you die. It's a roguelike in the sense that it's just really hard.
Yeah.
And but it definitely has some Metroid inspired flavor to it as well. So I thought it was really cool, and not to mention the fact that it's a really beautiful art style, really cool, like hand painted or hand drawn type of look, and it's really cool stuff. So I'm definitely interested in this one.
Yeah, and that's the style of roguelike that I prefer. I really like Rogue Legacy. It's one of my favorite roguelikes, and that was one of the cool things that game did. Every time you died, you had a skill tree, and you kind of cashed in your earnings that you had made through that run on the game, and you were constantly getting stronger. So it wasn't like you died and you felt like you were going back to the beginning of the game. You felt like you were like a much stronger character, and you were going to progress even further into the castle next time you went into it. So I really like that progression mechanic. So I'm glad that's on display and Sundered here. Franklin, are you excited for this one? I really loved Jotun, and couldn't wait for their next title. So the fact that they're doing this like Metroidvania style game has me just jacked up to play this title.
Yeah, like you guys said, this game just looks visually impressive. I can't wait to hop in there. I just don't know when, because that's the weekend that I'm stuck working. So naturally, like that, poof, gone. So this is one I'm going to definitely try to make time for when it comes out. I'm going to hope to kind of be on the tail end of Mass Effect Andromeda by that point. So kind of in that stage of waiting for Yakuza Kiwami, and, you know, maybe playing a couple other things like Edith Finch. But Sundered, again, at the top of my list for things I need to play when I get them. By the way, I don't know if you guys had seen, but Limited Run did Jotun, and I think this has been like one of their ones that has sold out the quickest in quite a while. I ended up getting one on the 6 o'clock batch because I forgot to get up earlier in the morning to get it. So I didn't know how quickly it had gone in the morning. I didn't like check, but I bought mine. I went on Twitter like 40 seconds later and saw like Limited Run tweet out, "Wow, you guys love Jotun. It's already sold out." I was like, "Wow, man." I probably just this close to missing it, so that would have sucked because I love that game too. So.
What was the print run on that game?
4,800 copies, I think.
Yeah, they're those Thunder Lotus guys, not small potatoes anymore.
Yeah,
they're in the big time. A lot of people love them, myself included. So the soundtrack in this game is probably gonna be badass too.
Oh yeah.
So that's something else to look forward to. It always amazes me that the small team that they have at Thunder Lotus is able to create a game that looks like this, or create a game that Sundered was on my most anticipated games of the year list for a reason. So really excited. That's almost out now. Moving on from there.
Before we do, huge props to actually sticking to your Kickstarter timeline. I don't know any other ones that have done that, but they said it'll be out in summer. They're aiming for July. It's coming out in July. Thank you.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because their Kickstarter was much different than a lot of the Kickstarters we see. The game was damn near done when they started the Kickstarter. So it was, I don't even remember what the impetus was behind it. If it was just, I don't even remember why they ran the Kickstarter.
I think they just needed a little bit more money to finish it, finish polishing and stuff. Like, they had an alpha build ready when the Kickstarter went live.
Yeah.
So, but they had a roadmap, everything. They knew, because I think Jotun was a Kickstarter game, so they knew exactly what needed to be done still to launch the game. So, but yeah, huge props to them for actually sticking to that and getting that thing done. Yeah.
So this is a good Kickstarter story. Like you said, they started the Kickstarter earlier this year. They had it planned for July. They already had an alpha build. They were already well into development. So I think these are the types of projects that are easier for people to get behind when they've seen your success in the past, first of all. So the next time that Thunder Lotus does a game and they go to Kickstarter, we already know that they've successfully delivered Jotun and Sundered to us. So we're going to be that much more likely to back their next Kickstarter, and if they do it the same way they did Sundered, all the better. So speaking of cool looking games, Nidhogg 2 now has a launch date, October 15th, or I'm sorry, August 15th.
No, I wish.
Yeah, just slipping dates in there. So August 15th, Franklin, brand new art style for this game. So they've left the kind of Atari style look of the first Nidhogg. And now they have this brand new style, man. What do you think of that? What do you think about this game arriving on August 15th? busy August ahead of us.
Especially August 15th. Like, that is seriously the worst day you could pick. I think Sonic Mania is at that day. Matterfall. I know I have something else pre-ordered coming on the 15th, but man, what the hell? But yeah, I'm excited to play this one. As long as they kept like the same like feel of the gameplay, that's what made Nidhogg great. I think putting like a new visual style over that, awesome. I think the game actually looks really cool. So I really hope I can find the time to play this game because this looks awesome, and I love Nidhogg. So,
yeah, I never actually got to play the first one.
It's fun. Get a couple friends together and just have a couple beers, some pizza. It's a good time.
Yeah, it always looked like a fun time. I've watched some people play it, and it looks like one of those kind of tower fall type games where it's just a good time with a group of people. What do you think about this new art style? You on board with the change?
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty slick.
You ever play this one, Bender?
I have never played Nidhogg. Don't even really know what it is.
Fencing game?
Yeah, it's a little fencing game.
Interesting.
It's kind of funny. You can like throw, you can roll, you can do all kinds of stuff. It's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it always looks like a good time. So my question with all of these games coming out, so starting next week with Pyre, but we're going to be on a run of games here on PSN that's really going to be like unparalleled. So with Pyre and Sundered and Super Cloud Built and Matterfall and Nidhogg and Lawbreakers and like all of these games that are coming out over the next like month or so. Like they've got a lot to pick from for the summer promotion this year, for the PSN Play promotion. So I wonder what's gonna make the cut, man. What's gonna be on there?
I'm gonna be upset if I've already pre-ordered like 3 or 4 games that they put on there.
Yeah, I would hope that if they do that, that they would just give you the deal or whatever the deal works out to. But we'll see.
Yeah.
They should be announcing that pretty soon, I feel like.
When they say pre-orders are going for Nidhogg on Monday, I assume Monday then, right? Like when pre-orders go live, they'll probably roll out the list. So maybe Monday.
Maybe so. Maybe Monday.
That'd be nice.
Sounds like as good a time as any. Some other games we know are coming to PlayStation's way now. So we have Tooth and Tail, which is a real-time strategy game starring animals. It comes out on September 12th. Masquerada is a action RPG Dungeons and Dragons style game that'll be out on August 8th. Off-Road Racer Gravel has been announced. It's coming to PS4 in early 2018. We saw 8 new minutes of Matterfall gameplay this week, and man, I don't know what we did to get 2 Housemart games in the same summer, but Nex Machina was awesome. Matterfall looks awesome. This looks like a cool ass game. It's gonna have a kick-ass soundtrack. It's gonna have kick-ass gameplay. Like, what more could you ask for? Super pumped for Matterfall.
You get the soundtrack for free if you pre-order it.
There you go. You get the soundtrack for free for pre-ordering as well. So can't ask for much more than that. We know Samurai Showdown 5 Special is coming to the PS4 and the Vita, so that's awesome. Super Cloud Built, which we talked about for the Xbox One last week, coming to the PS4 as well. That'll be out July 25th. So next week we can our next release list. Sorry, next podcast we'll be able to talk about Super Cloud Built. If you haven't yet, pre-order Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 and get a free theme. Shakedown Hawaii was on the PlayStation blog this week. That game looks freaking sweet. You on board for that one, Frankie?
I think so. That's the spiritual successor to Retro City Rampage.
Yeah. Did you ever play Retro City?
A little bit. It's kind of confusing at first, but once I actually kind of understood what I was doing in the game, it's not bad. But I'd play another, one of those. That game actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, Retro City, was always billed as like Grand Theft Auto in like an 8-bit setting, and Shakedown Hawaii is looks like Vice City to me.
Yeah.
So just fits right along with the style there. Dino Frontier hits PSVR on August 1st. And another game coming to PSN in the next few weeks here is Thimbleweed Park. So we knew this was making its way over to PS4. Yes. This, to me, screams like PSN Play promotion. Yep. So to have Thimbleweed Park in here on August 22nd, this sounds like the perfect capper game to that promotion. Yeah. Well, I mean, just absolutely loaded in August. Have either of you guys played Thimbleweed Park on Xbox yet?
No.
No?
No, I really wanted to, though. I love point-and-click adventures, and
Yeah.
it looks like a really cool one. I've heard good things about it, so
Yeah.
I definitely want to check it out at some point. I just haven't had the chance.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a Ron Gilbert joint, so that all the better for the game as well. Yeah, I've heard good things about it as well.
Kick myself for buying that because I think I paid full price for it, and then it went on sale a week later. It was on sale in the Ultimate sale. Now it's coming to PlayStation. I could have had trophies. Maybe I'll double dip on it. Trophies are important.
They are. They're very important. A couple more nuggets here from the world of PlayStation. Neo getting some new DLC on July 25th. So once again, next time we do the show, we'll have Neo DLC on the release list. Got some new trophies coming alongside this. New weapons, new armor. All sounds like good stuff to me. And Street Fighter V, big part of EVO right now. They're rolling out a new pack with stages and costumes. This is one of the... They roll this out every single year on EVO. This is like their Capcom Cup package. It's expensive, but I think some of these proceeds go towards the Capcom Cup. And it's some classic stages, classic costumes. If you're into that kind of stuff, check that out. All right, let's get into some Xbox news now, guys. This week, Xbox had an update. And you can now have custom gamer picks. You have some new streaming options. You got some arena updates. Different things that are available right now. So let's go through this list here. So as of a couple days ago, you can now upload custom gamer picks to your Xbox profile. Choose how you want to express yourself. Mixer co-streaming is now on the console for everyone. So with just a few clicks, you and up to 3 of your friends can stream together in a single broadcast. Plus, never miss your friends' streams inside your club and arena tournaments. Sounds pretty cool. Sign into your Xbox One with just one press of the Xbox button on your controller. Now you can make your controller truly your own. How about that? And new user-generated tournaments for Killer Instinct on Xbox One means it's never been easier to go battle with your friends. The Xbox app also brings updates for it now supports LFG sharing, Game Pass browsing, an updated language location setting, and an Android-only feature supporting messaging chat bubbles.
Yeah, let me tell you how annoying that is. My
why don't you tell us, Franklin?
Yeah, so I didn't know that was added. So I was talking to someone sent me a message on Xbox, and it puts this big ugly bubble at the top of the screen, and I'm like, I didn't know how to get rid of it at first. So you click on it, and it just like fills your screen with this Xbox chat, and you click it, and then it turns into the Xbox icon just floating on your screen. It took me like 5 minutes to figure out how to get rid of it, because you can't just like close all apps and it goes away. You have to like drag it off the screen to get rid of it. It's really ugly and annoying.
Sounds wonderful. Huh. Bender, any of these features excite you?
I don't know.
You want to be like Major Nelson and put a Scorpio processor in your mouth and take a picture and use it as a custom profile picture?
Nah, it's okay.
Not about that life. Any of this stuff interest you at all, Frankie? Besides your wonderful experience you've had with the app?
Not really. I mean, I changed my gamer pick to annoy JD, but that's about it.
That's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Also, Xbox kind of hinted at their plans for Gamescom this year. So, this is what they had to say. Tune in on Sunday, August 20th at 9 p.m. CEST, which I'm not sure what that is, but 12 p.m. Pacific.
Whatever time zone Germany's in.
Is that German time? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 p.m. German time, 12 p.m. Pacific, so noon Pacific time, to a special Xbox at Gamescom live show to get the latest news and announcements on Xbox One X. The show will be hosted by Graham Boyd and Xbox Germany's Max Graf. They'll have news to share, games to show off. We'll sit down and talk with developers from fan-favorite studios and play some of the year's hottest games yet to be released. There will be even a few surprises and giveaways along the way, so be sure to tune in on Mixer.com or watch via the Mixer app. So, Frankie, I ask you, what do you think Xbox has up their sleeve for this? Is this just small potatoes? Do you think they're going to show anything of significance here during this live event?
Honestly, the only thing I'm expecting is pre-orders to go live that day. Like worldwide pre-orders are live now. But outside of
I can
that,
see that.
I'm not sure. I know Halo 5 got that 4K announcement, so maybe they'll show that off somehow. But I don't know. I don't know what else they could have. That they would have held back, unless they have like some more Cupheady indie games to show off. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that would be the move though from them to kind of take back some momentum in the European market at the very least? Go to Gamescom, announce pre-orders for Xbox One X, like get people excited about it, and have them go out and like pre-order that day.
Yeah, why not? That'd be pretty cool. They have
that
the
makes
system there. I know they're talking. You'll be able to play things on the X there, so I think that would be more impactful if you have people, because that's an open show. Anyone can go to Gamescom, so you get people in there. They play games on Xbox One X. Hey, I can pre-order this thing now. Do it then and there. You're all set.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think, Bender? You think they got anything big up their sleeve for Gamescom?
I'm sure they've got something planned. I don't know what, but
yeah,
I'm sure they got something.
It's interesting because Gamescom has kind of been more subdued in recent years, at least in terms of like news and stuff. Sony hasn't run a conference there in a few years. Xbox hasn't either, so we haven't seen much like big news reveals come out of the show in recent time. So it'll be interesting to see if Microsoft changes that this year. And they have an opportunity, I think, with Sony not being there and with Nintendo not really being there in any meaningful capacity or announcing anything big there. Like, they have a chance where they could slide into this slot here and kind of have the show to themselves, so to speak, and announce something really cool if they wanted to. So to me, it would make sense to take advantage of that, unless they have something else planned for the rest of the year. But with things like PSX and the Tokyo Game Show, like those are pretty much PlayStation focused events. We know Nintendo's going to have a few directs throughout the year that'll put the spotlight on them. But this is kind of an opportunity for Xbox to hop in here and actually like take the spotlight. So it'd be interesting to see if they take advantage of that or not.
It would be really cool. Really cool. I don't think it'll happen, but they announced they partner with Crytek for Rise 2. That'd be like the place to do that.
Would be. Crytek, where are they out of now? Where's their main headquarters?
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Yeah. So right in that neck of the woods. So wouldn't be a bad move. We shall see. Come August 20th on the Xbox stream. All right, let's finish things out with some Nintendo nuggets now. Now, this was an interesting week because we had two big games confirmed for the Switch from a third-party perspective. So we know WWE 2K18 making its way over to the Switch now, alongside Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, both getting Switch release dates. So Bender, let me ask you this, man. From what it sounds like and the way things are worded in the 2K18 press release, it doesn't sound like we'll be getting the same version of 2K18 on the Switch that we are on the PS4 and the Xbox One, which is to be expected. So it's unclear if this is just from like a graphical fidelity point of view, but more likely this comes down to some of the features that are going to be involved in the game as well. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 sounds more or less like it's going to be the same game when it comes out to the Switch. We'll have to see how that all works out. But what do you think about this, man? Is this a good sign for the Switch moving forward? Do you think... well, let me ask you a couple things. Like, what does this mean for the Switch moving forward? Obviously, it's a very popular console right now. It's selling very well. This is very attractive to third parties who want to get their games onto the platform. But do you think that if we're getting like a washed out port or like a dumbed down port, like this is going to have a negative effect on third party games moving forward? Like, how do you feel about all this? How are you going to feel if you get WWE 2K18? And I know you're not going to play WWE 2K18, but how are you going to feel?
He's a big Kurt
You
Angle
might.
fan.
You never know. Oh, okay. Yeah, big Samoa Joe guy. So what's going to happen if 2K18 comes out and it's just like a piss poor version of the PS4 Xbox One version? Like, is this going to kind of be one of those things where 2K puts out a game on the platform, it's not really the same game that's on another platform, and therefore it doesn't sell well, and that kind of prevents them from putting games on there in the future? What do you foresee as the third-party future here, just from what we see from these couple games here?
It's kind of tough to say. It definitely could be a negative thing if somebody gets that game on the Switch and then they have a friend who has it on PS4. They're like, oh, my version's way worse compared to yours. Then they feel gypped because they got the watered down version or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably for the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't.
Do
I
you
don't
think
this-
do you think third parties like hanging their hat on the fact that it's portable? You think that's enough to make that big of a difference with people, even if it's not the same game?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think in Dragon Ball's case, that's one of the big exclusive feature for that is I think it features like up to 6-player. I don't know if it's co-op or competitive play, but that's local only.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a good selling point for it.
You can also do
I don't know.
a Kamehameha on the Joy-Cons, so that's a big selling point too, right?
Yay, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the portability will be enough to get people interested in it, even if it is a lesser version of the game, but maybe not. It's tough to say.
What do you think about all this, Frankie? What do you think about these two games in particular coming over to the Switch? Like, what does this mean moving forward? Do you think, if WWE 2K18 is a poor version of that game, do you think this, this is going to be a big blow to the Switch moving forward? What do you think?
I agree with Bender. It's kind of hard to say at this point, just because I think WWE 2K will do okay on the Switch, just because kids love WWE games. So I think, even having a watered down version on the Switch, still, the fact that you can take it anywhere with you is still a pretty big, big deal. People want to be able to keep playing their stuff on the go, and that's you would expect it to look a little worse because of that, but I look at Dragon Ball and I'm actually kind of bummed out about it. I figured, when they're putting it out, it's coming out stupidly the same day as Pokken Tournament, but I expected at this point, releasing it when they are, that it would house all the DLC or something, something. I don't have, 6 friends, 4, 5, 6 friends who are going to buy Switches to play Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 with me. So, that feature doesn't do anything for me, but you tell me, hey, I get all the story stuff, all the extra DLC packs, then sure. I mean, I think it's $50. I would go out and buy Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 again on the Switch for all that stuff, but, I don't know. It's a game that I think will do well, Dragon Ball especially, because I think there is, definitely, a fan base that has a Switch that would probably love playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 on the go. I don't think that game's a very visually demanding game in the first place. I mean, that's obviously not going to look as crisp as it does on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but I still think with what the Switch can do with it, it'll be fine. But I don't know. It's hard to say because I think I remember with the Wii U, especially when you got towards Batman Arkham Origins had season passes and stuff that they were canceling because they weren't selling anything on the Switch. So if anything, I worry maybe they'll keep putting out the WWE games, but maybe you won't see the DLC for it coming to the Switch. I would expect the network features to be pretty stripped out, which is I think those are kind of a big component of those games now. I mean, I fell off the WWE game bandwagon a long time ago, so I don't know, Honestly, I think I last played it when it was still SmackDown vs. Raw.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my last foray when it was on PS2.
Yeah,
SmackDown era.
Yeah. I think 2006 had that GM mode. That was fun. I loved playing that, and I think that was the last one that I really sunk a lot of time into. But
yeah, I used to love those. I used to love those games, man.
Yeah,
WCW versus the World on PS1. Played the hell out of that game. Loved it.
I bought an N64 specifically because I had a friend who had WWF No Mercy. And it's just watching the entrances is oh my god! I was used to the Sega Genesis and WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, and Royal Rumble, those old things. So seeing the N64 version is holy shit, I need to get this. So you watch Kane do his entrance and it has the whole fire thing and everything. It was man. And that game was awesome. I loved No Mercy. I played just an absolute ton of No Mercy. But
yeah, that was a good one. Dude, do you remember Royal Rumble on the Dreamcast?
yeah, the game sucked.
What a disaster.
Yep.
What an absolute disaster. I remember being excited when that came out. We're like, oh man, next gen, like WWE game.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is gonna be sweet. Like coming off of all these other really cool wrestling games that had just come out. And Royal Rumble sucked so bad.
Yeah.
I think it had one mode, and it was Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the whole entire game. And they're just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like this is the game you're putting out? That was such a disappointment.
Absolute train wreck.
Yeah.
ECW had that Hardcore Revolution game. It was basically like the WWF, I think it was Attitude that they had out.
Mm-hmm.
Looked exactly like that, but I played a lot more of that than I did Royal Rumble.
Yeah, just a train wreck.
Ugh.
But yeah, how much of a leash do you think third parties are gonna have with this? Like, is this gonna be a situation where the stuff we're seeing from like WWE and FIFA and Dragon Ball, like, are these games going to have to hit for third parties moving forward, or do you think they'll still take a stab at the Switch for the foreseeable future?
I feel like if they don't do well, which I think in EA's case they're kind of hoping for, because I don't get the sense that EA has any excitement or love for the Nintendo Switch. So I think if FIFA 18 bombs on the Switch, they're just going to happily walk away from supporting it. 2K, on the other hand, I could see them maybe going another couple years with WWE or NBA, and if sales don't pick up, then they'll walk away from it. But I don't know. It's hard to say right now. I know Namco seems pretty committed though. So
yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, from what I've heard of what they showed at E3, the FIFA on the Switch actually played pretty well in handheld mode, at least. I don't know what it looked like on the TV, but from what I understand from a handheld perspective, it seemed like it was coming along pretty well.
I still don't understand how like docked versions of games run worse than handheld mode. That baffles me.
Yeah, well, trying to convert and do all the processing and whatever.
Yeah.
That factors into it, I'm sure. But who knows? I'm not an engineer, so I don't know how that stuff works either. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see the kind of the third party story behind the Nintendo Switch and how that all plays out in the future. Because I still feel like even though obviously the Switch is selling like hotcakes on the back of Zelda and sure to be Mario in the near future here, I still think they need some type of a third-party presence moving forward, and I don't know if the indies that they get every now and then are going to be enough to sustain that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
I mean, the other problem that I look at is we're talking about WWE and Dragon Ball Z on the Switch. Like, these are games that we're gonna buy on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One because we want trophies, achievements, we want the better versions. I look at like Ubisoft and they're doing that Mario plus Rabbids game. I think that's going to be more of where third parties should go, is just make exclusive games for the Switch. Like, make games that play to the advantages of the Switch. Like yeah, it's cool to like think about taking Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 on the go with me, but like ultimately you give me another Dragon Ball game that's exclusive to the Switch that takes advantage of the system's uniqueness, I'm going to buy that instead.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, obviously that's what we would love. But, I mean, the reality is third parties just, I don't know that they have the capital or the time to make a separate Switch game every time they want to make a game, It's like Ubisoft's game is going to be successful partly because it's got the Mario license. And, who else out there is going to have access to Mario? Nobody. So nobody else is going to be able to get the license. At the best they'll get like a Mario Kart in Rocket League or something like that. Like, that's kind of what they'll get. But yeah, in a perfect world, man, if we could get more Mario and Rabbids games like that would be awesome. I just don't see it right now as being I just kind of see it as being a kind of a one-off thing right now.
Yeah, that sucks. Because like I said, I don't. I'm probably not going to buy any of these big third-party games on my Switch ever. I don't need to. Like, I have other consoles for those. So it sucks because these are the games that they're ultimately going to judge. Like, do we continue supporting the platform with FIFA? Make something for the Switch, man. You don't need your sports games that we can get in everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out moving forward. But it's going to be very interesting to watch how the third-party story plays out on the Switch. Final bit of Nintendo news here. So the smaller new Nintendo 3DS, so the first one that they came out with, has ceased production in Japan. So obviously the XL version will still be made. The 2DS and the 2DS XL still in production, obviously. But Bender, what do you think this means, man? If anything, this is the smaller 3DS that's been out for I think it's been a couple years now. But this is the new 3DS, so this is not the old one. It ceases production in Japan. Do you think this means that maybe we're getting closer to phasing the 3DS out, or is this simply just a model that doesn't make sense for them anymore, so they're getting rid of it?
It's probably just something as simple as it's just not selling as well as the XL.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not making much money off of it, then might as well just phase it out and just focus on selling the XL version of them. I don't know. I don't know if it's anything more than that, but it could be.
Yeah. What do you think, Frankie? Are we any closer to them moving away from the 3DS and kind of focusing full on the Switch?
I don't think so. Not for at least another year or two. Because I know we have the new 2DS XL coming out next. Is it next week? 2 weeks? Fairly soon.
Yeah, it's coming out really soon.
I was thinking about buying one of those, but then Giant Bomb did like an unboxing video of it, and like that top screen's very flimsy. So I might just get a new 3DS XL instead.
Well, from what I understand, what they did with the 2DS XL is they took all of the components that were in the top screen that made the 3DS XL a little top heavy, and they moved that stuff into the bottom half so it wasn't as like heavy to hold, because all of it was kind of resting in your hands as opposed to in the top screen. So I don't remember exactly what it was, but they moved like the speakers or something down into the bottom portion, so it made it more like balanced in your hands.
It's weird.
Yeah. What's in that top screen right now, Bender, on the 3DS XL? Are the speakers up there?
Yeah, the speakers are at the top screen, and it's got the 3D slider if it's the 3DS, and the volume and everything.
Yeah. I think they moved. I think it was the speakers that they moved into the bottom unit to kind of alleviate some of that top heaviness.
It's weird because then you're holding the bottom part. So where is it? The speakers are on the the front or something?
Unless they put them on the top.
It's weird. I don't know. I guess I'll have to see it.
The stylus is in a different spot. I know that much about it too.
Yeah. There's a few interesting design changes on it.
I like the color scheme. Like, it looks slick. But I don't know, man. It comes with a power adapter.
That's good.
Hey, making progress. If we could just get an online infrastructure now, we'll be in business. Please, Nintendo. All right, that's gonna do it for the news for this week, guys. We do have an email this week, so we're gonna go over that now. It's from our friend Herman. Wrote into the show and he said this. Hey guys, first off, I just want to thank you for all the hard work you guys do. I really enjoy going to the website and listening to the podcast every week, anticipating hearing your thoughts on the world of gaming. I also appreciate the videos on YouTube and Twitch and getting to interact with everyone. I look forward to what the future holds for Short Pause, and I'll definitely be signing up to hopefully join the Short Pause clan in Destiny 2. It would be an honor. Well, Herman, it would be an honor for us to have you in the clan, and you have a spot in there, my friend. Just know your hard work doesn't go unnoticed, and keep up the great work. Thank you. Now, my questions. My first question is, should I wait to buy an Xbox One X, or go ahead and get the One S? I do have a 4K TV, and at first I wasn't on board getting an Xbox, but I will say it has me interested as of late. What are your thoughts? So we'll tackle this one question at a time. So let's tackle the Xbox One X question first. Frankie, what do you think, man? Should Herman pull the trigger now, or should he wait for the X?
Honestly, it kind of depends on you. Like, if graphics are really important to you, then I would wait. But if they're not, and if you're not really, like, from what I gather, he plays on PlayStation, right? So I would assume, you probably already have a pretty hefty collection of PlayStation titles. So if you don't see yourself reinvesting in games on the Xbox to see them in 4K, I look at things like like Assassin's Creed and Shadow of War upcoming, that are going to be big 4K supporters. If you don't see yourself playing on there, if you're not tied to trophies, go for the X. But otherwise,
not tied to trophies.
Not tied to
what
trophies.
Talk is that?
Well, hey, you never know.
What kind of talk is that?
You never know. There's people. I don't know any personally, but there's people.
Herman, I hope you're tied to trophies.
But I think also, even if you do decide to wait, I would also still wait and buy a 1S probably around Black Friday, only because you'll probably be able to get a pretty good deal, get a nice bundle, get a couple of exclusive games that are really good. On top of that too, I also would recommend the S just because you get that system for, I think it's going for $250 now. So for the $500 you would drop on the X, you have now $250 to go out and buy a bunch of games. So I would probably go that route, honestly, if I were you, Herman. I would get the S, buy a bunch of the games. Again, if resolution's not that big a deal to you, I think a lot of these games already look awesome as they are. So that's my vote.
Bender, what do you think, man? Should Herman go out and buy the Xbox now, or should he wait for the X?
I agree with Frankie. I think it really depends on how important it is to you that if you want the games to look as best as they possibly can, then yeah, you would want to get the X, especially if you have a 4K TV. I don't, so I'm not rushing out to get the X, but if I had a 4K TV, I probably would consider saving up and getting the X. However, on the other hand, the S does still have some benefits that you can derive from a 4K display. It's just not quite as good as the X would be.
It does have a 4K player in it too, so I mean.
Yeah, so there are some benefits. It's just the S is like half as much as the X is going to be.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to consider. If you have the extra money and you want the best looking and the best running games that they can possibly be, then go for the X. But I think the S is a good machine, even though I don't have one. I've got the original Xbox. The S is a cool looking thing. It would be sufficient if graphics aren't the most important thing to you.
I think the S upscales for 4K displays as well. I don't know what exactly that entails because I have a 1080p TV, but the S also has the 4K player in it, so you get a $250 4K Blu-ray player, which is awesome. So get an S.
My thoughts are this, Herman. The big wrench in this whole thing is the fact that you already have a 4K TV. So that tells me at the very least you're a technology guy and you're interested in technology. The fact that you already have a 4K screen, you're an early adopter of that. I'm not sure what the impetus behind the purchase was. I don't know if you have a PS4 Pro or if you have a 4K Blu-ray player already, or what the whole reason you originally bought the 4K display was. But if that's the case, if you're really into technology like that, you're probably going to want to wait for the Xbox One X because it's going to be the most powerful console you get at the time, and it's going to be able to do stuff that no other console can. So if that's appealing to you, then I would go ahead and wait for the X. Now, the other side of this coin is, how much are you going to be playing this Xbox? If you're primarily a PlayStation gamer and you just want to jump into the Xbox for a couple of games here and there, I think the X is going to be, or the S, excuse me. There's that name just messing us up already. But the S is going to be, I think, more than serviceable for what you need it for in that respect. The thing with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro is it's an easy jump to go to the Pro, I think, because it's $100 more, sometimes $150 more, and to me that's kind of in more of the impulse territory where you're like, well, it's only $100 more, I'm going to get these benefits, I think I can jump up and get to the Pro. Now, when you're talking from the S to the X, we're looking at double the price. We're looking at an extra $250 at the very least, and the S is routinely on sale for a pretty good price with games. Mm-hmm. So I see these deals all the time for an Xbox One S for $230 with Battlefront or with Gears of War or something like that. You know, they run these deals all the time. So if you're simply looking to get into the Xbox ecosystem and you want to play a few of the exclusive games here and there, I'm with the guys. The S is gonna be just fine for you. But if you're a technology guy, like I think you are, because you already got the 4K display, maybe you want to wait for the X, because this might be something that you get a kick out of because of all the tech that's inside of it. So I know that probably doesn't probably doesn't help you, giving you two options like that. But it really depends on like I said, what type of a gamer you are, Herman, and what exactly you're looking to get out of the console. If you're strictly looking for it for a couple of exclusives here and there, buy the S. If you're looking for more, get the X. That's what I would say. All right, let's move on to Herman's second question, guys. It's kind of no, it doesn't necessarily tie in, but my second question is that, in my opinion, Sony seems to be dominating the gaming industry in some respects. They receive most of the exclusives for a game, and even when the game is multi-platform, it seems like Sony gets the good stuff earlier. I know Microsoft and Nintendo make great products and games in their own right, but in your guys' opinion, is Sony that far ahead of the game, or is the competition a lot closer than I personally realize? Bender, what do you think about that?
I don't know. Sony seems to be pretty far ahead at this point. I don't know if the Xbox One X is going to be enough for them to make up the ground, because since it's such a kind of a niche product that's only catering to a certain subsection of gamers. It's not going to be a mass market type of thing. I don't know if that's going to help Microsoft to catch up the ground that they need to like surpass. But on the other hand, I mean, it's kind of a rocky situation now, because they're doing these mid-cycle console refreshes, and we're kind of, it feels like we're moving away from traditional console cycles. And so, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of tough to say. Sony definitely does have a lot of really good exclusives right now. Xbox, I mean, Microsoft really needs to make up some ground in that respect as well. They need some good exclusives to really drive sales. So I don't know, I'm not sure if there's how big of the gap it is. I haven't looked at the sales numbers lately, but Sony definitely does seem to have a commanding lead right now.
Well, you can't look at the sales numbers because Microsoft doesn't put them out. So that's a telltale sign of where they're at in terms of the console race right now. But so Frankie, Bender touched on something here that I want to get your thoughts on. But he mentioned that the Xbox One X being marketed to a small group of gamers. And the more we go on here, I'm not entirely convinced that the Xbox One X is going to bring in a whole new group of people into the ecosystem. The more we go on, I feel like the people that want this machine, or that are getting behind this machine and that this machine is being marketed to, are people that already own an Xbox, and it's kind of getting them to upgrade another console in this console cycle, getting them to buy the next version of the Xbox. I don't know that someone outside of the Xbox ecosystem has seen enough compelling software or compelling enough reason to jump in, outside of people that are really into tech. But at that point, it's like, you know, do you have a PC at that point? If you're really that into it, like you're really that gung-ho about this technology, that you would buy this machine just based on that, you know, wouldn't you just have it on the PC at that point? So I want to get your thoughts on that, and obviously Herman's question here. What do you think about all this, man?
I think Better has a great point. I don't. I'm with you. I think the people who are upgrading, the people that I see really, really, really excited about the system, are existing Xbox owners. I don't know anybody who's excited about getting an X. Actually, I think I was talking to Jamie a couple of days ago, and he's hoping that because of the X coming out, that the S is going to get cheaper because he kind of wants to get one. But I don't know a lot of people who are excited to spend $500 again on another Xbox One. So I don't see that system as being something to bridge the gap. I think obviously we're going to see a lot more performance things that are going to favor Xbox, which personally I don't care. I mean, I've never really been one who's into the resolution crap. I don't care. That's why I'm not really gung-ho about running on buying one. I think these games that we get now already look great. So, I mean, if you're someone who's able to take advantage of that, much glorious-looking picture, hey, awesome. But that ain't me. But yeah, I don't like I said, like Bender said, I don't think it's going to even come close to closing the gap. It'll just be, that option for the people who want, the best looking games possible, which I'm not even. The thing that really confuses me about it, honestly, is we talk about like Assassin's Creed is going to do checkerboard rendering on both Pro and Xbox One X. So when you start getting into these nitty gritty comparison videos, you're now going to be literally pointing out, oh well, this bush looks way clearer, and look at how the individual branches blow better on the Xbox One X. Like, this is the kind of stuff we're going to start getting into, and I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not walking around these games, stopping it and checking out every single thing. Another one I've been playing Tekken 7 on Xbox One, and I didn't even know the game was 720p. Honestly, I had no idea. But like I was watching the comparison video, and it's just like things in the environment, and I'm sitting here thinking like I'm not sitting here staring at the floor like I'm trying to figure out how to dodge this guy's move and punch him in the face, So it's you get into this stuff and you start getting into this real nitty gritty, picking apart the exact differences, and it's just I don't care.
Yeah.
But anyways, as far as Herman's question, I think it's kind of been a perfect storm for PlayStation this go around. I think especially during the PlayStation 3 cycle, we really saw the value come out of the worldwide studios, and saw Sony continuing to grow and invest in them. Coming into this generation, we've seen Microsoft cancel and close a bunch of studios, which hasn't been good for anybody. But on top of that, on top of like the PlayStation's runaway success, on top of the fact that they have the third party or the first party worldwide studio initiative going, they're also kind of utilizing the fact that they're the market leader right now. They're getting all the marketing deals for all these big third party titles. So holiday season, you're seeing constant PlayStation ads, for all the big games: Call of Duty, Battlefield, Destiny. So they're in that position, and Ben's talked about this before, where you roll into the holiday season, you have your branding on all these big titles that people are going to be running out and buying for Christmas. You don't need to put your exclusive games out in that time. You're buying yourself time to release Horizon in February and, stuff like throughout the year rather than having to try to rush it out during the holiday time. And I think that's probably worked out, again, very well for them. Like, you look at Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's a game that they didn't feel they had to rush out to be out, for Christmas. Like, hey, well, we can wait until February to release this game. It'll still do fine. It sold nearly 4 million copies so far. So, I think they've just kind of, this generation especially, they've really hit their stride in how they probably want to do consoles going forward, where they have the market share, they have, this leniency to kind of, release their stuff when it's ready, because other stuff is going to buoy them in the meantime. So I think that's been a big part of it. I don't know where the Switch is going to end up. I know that things been selling like hotcakes. I hope Nintendo just kind of busts back onto the scene. It'd be really great to see like a dominant Nintendo again. I know I love the Switch. It's an awesome piece of tech. But I don't know. I think what you're seeing is actually a pretty accurate reflection of how the industry is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you guys hit the nail on the head with all that stuff. It's going to be very interesting to me to see the gulf between certainly the third-party games on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, to see just how noticeable the differences are. Like you said, is this going to be a situation where we're picking apart the branches in a bush, in a Digital Foundry article, or are these going to be actual noticeable differences? That's what I'm going to be really interested to see, because, are you really going to be able to tell the difference between a checkerboard 4K and a 4K? Like, are you really going to be able to pick that out unless you're either looking at them side by side, or you're watching like a Digital Foundry video and watching them pick out some of that stuff? Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting to see. Also, I'll be interested to see the gulf between first-party stuff. So a game like Horizon looks just stunning on a 4K display on the PS4 Pro. That's a damn good-looking game. So to put that up against some of the other stuff that we're going to see come out, I'll be interested to see the differences and how noticeable those are. Because obviously when the first party is involved, they're getting in there and they're pulling the nitty-gritty stuff out of the machine on both sides of the equation. So I'll be interested to see how that stuff compares as well. So that's part of the narrative. And Herman, when it comes down to it, man, I think just Sony just is that far in the lead, and that's just kind of what we're seeing here. Like Frankie, you hit on it with all the marketing deals and the things we've talked about in the past. We're looking at a 2018 from Sony that potentially has Shadow of the Colossus, God of War, and Spider-Man all releasing outside of the holiday season in the first half of the year. Like, this is a real potential thing that could happen. And, the market is kind of changing, and I think that their plan that they have is really just kind of brilliant when it comes down to it. If you make all these big third-party deals and you've got your name in the headlines for the holiday season, and then outside of that, you're putting out your big-time titles like God of War and like Spider-Man, like your big-time exclusives in these non-traditional windows when people traditionally don't have a big game to look forward to, like, you're going to clean up, man. We saw it in the first quarter of this year. So, and we know Sony is over 60 million units of the PlayStation 4 now. In just under 4 years here, so the system's been selling extremely well. From what we understand, just from what we know or what we can assume, the Xbox One is sold roughly half of that, maybe a little bit more, and the Switch is obviously brand new, so that's gonna kind of chart its own path. But yeah, in terms of just Microsoft and Sony, I think Sony is that far ahead, and that's kind of why you see them out in front of all of these partnerships, and they're getting exclusive deals, and even from an indie perspective, like the games release on PS4 first. Not only because of some of the policies and procedures they have in place, but because of its position as the market leader machine as well. So you got to think about it from an indie perspective. If you're, you only have the resources to put your game out on one platform, like what platform are you going to put it out on? You're going to put it out on the one that's in more people's hands. So I think that's just kind of what we're seeing, man, with all this.
That's a good point. I know Cliffy B's been taking a lot of heat on Twitter over Lawbreakers launching first on PlayStation 4, and he's said countless times, like, look, we are a very small studio. We can't afford to support launching on two separate consoles. We wanted to go with the one that has the larger user base. So, and that's been the case. Like, even 360, I look at like publishers like Calypso. They released a lot of games on 360 that never came to PlayStation 3 because it had the larger user base. So I think you're just kind of seeing like that shift now from, then to now the PlayStation 4 obviously being that console. You saw things like Tropico 5 launching on PlayStation 4 before they came over to Xbox One. Obviously things like Lawbreakers, Pyre, Transistor. Just it's very telling, within even the indie community how all this works.
Yeah. I mean, we're literally seeing like the exact same strategy that Microsoft employed with the 360 era. We're just seeing a reverse of that now. Like a lot of the games that they got first, a lot of the partnerships that they had in terms of the DLC and all that kind of stuff, it all made sense for third parties in the last generation to do that with the 360 because that was the market leading console for a while. So we're just kind of seeing that same strategy that Sony's employing on. I think it's really interesting that that's kind of the way it's all played out. But they've just made some really smart marketing deals this year. Like they've attached their cart to some of the big time horses in this race. So when you have marketing deals with Star Wars and with Destiny and with Call of Duty, it's just kind of you just kind of played your cards right. That's just kind of the way it is. And they're going to be with Red Dead as well when that eventually comes out. So that's our very long-winded answer to your question, Herman. Thank you. Thanks so much for writing in, man. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the praise. Really, really appreciate it. And that's why we do this podcast every single week. We don't do it just to see each other's smiling mugs and talk to each other. Like, we want to put out a good show that you guys can enjoy as well, and we can engage in some good conversations around everything and anything that's going on in the video game industry. So thanks again, Herman. Really appreciate it, man. Feel free to write in at any time. We'd love to hear from you. So other than that, guys, that's going to wrap up the show. So let's put a nice, tidy little bow on this. Bender, where can we find you tweeting, gaming, all that good stuff?
You can find me on Twitter at Bender_guitar, on PlayStation Network and Nintendo Network at me_Bender, and on Xbox Live at meBender82.
Franklin, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Nintendo Network, pretty much anywhere at Viper Strike.
Cool. Making it easy on us. I like it. As always, I'll be not tweeting at Piccolo930. It's my PSN name as well. That's where you can find me on the Switch. Piccolo930. Just a reminder, this, I don't think we talked about this at the beginning of the show, so should probably bring it up now. But this week we will not have a video version of the podcast, so you will only have access to this in audio form. So if you're listening to this, or if you listen to this on iTunes or SoundCloud or any of the other podcast services we use, nothing to worry about there. If you do typically watch us on YouTube or listen to it on YouTube, there will be an audio version of the podcast on YouTube at the very least, so you can continue to follow us on there. Brent produces the video version of the podcast once again, so with him being gone this week, we don't have access to the video format that we typically use. But Brent will be back next week, so we'll be back to our normal video schedule in terms of that, so be on the lookout for that. Now, if you want to be like Herman, have your email read on the show, make sure you reach out to us, podcast@shortpause.com. Questions, comments, concerns, questions about whatever. And we'll read them here on the show.
Be like Herman.
Be like Herman. We'd love to hear from you. Now, the podcast you can find on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and Google Play. Like I said, we're also available on YouTube, so our YouTube page is Short Pause Gaming. It's actually where you can find us on a variety of services. So on Twitch, we're also Short Pause Gaming, and we're Short Pause Gaming on Mixer as well. So make sure you subscribe to us on all those various services so you never miss any of our content. We have a Facebook page as well. You can come on there. We stream on there occasionally, so look out for Short Pause Gaming on Facebook as well. If you like the podcast, if you really like the podcast, hop on over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, write us a nice review, let us know, why you like the show. It helps certainly Brent's ego, and then but more importantly, just helps us get exposure to the show and get it into more people's ears. If you're not quite ready to give us 5 stars, that's cool. You can hop on into the comment section in the post for this podcast. Let us know what you think about the show, or any comments, questions, criticisms, whatever. Or better way is actually to probably email us. So podcast@shortpause.com. Once again, let us know your thoughts on the show. Make sure you're following us at the Short Pause on Twitter as well. So once again, you'll be able to keep up with everything that we do. And visit the website, www.shortpause.com. All of our articles, videos, everything we do on a daily, weekly basis is all posted on there. So make sure you're checking in there and seeing what we're up to. Check out our Evo page. Going all this weekend. Yes. It'll be archived with all of the top fights on there as well. So if you want to relive the magic, you will have that option as well. So for Bender, for Frankie, I'm Ben. Thanks so much for listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. We'll see you guys next week with a full squad. Have a good day, evening, whenever you listen to this. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.